is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are San Diego.
Derek Norris remains a Padre. The trade deadline is over, and Norris will be in the starting lineup tonight. And for the Milwaukee Brewers, they bring in home run hitting Chris Carter, the first baseman, with 24 home runs to match last year's total. As we welcome you to beautiful Petco Park and turn the calendar page. Happy August to you all as we go down to the final 2 months of the season. Every team in the major leagues, it seems, has restructured their lineup, and the Padres will introduce a new pitcher tonight.
Yes, and another opportunity for right-hander Jarred Cosart from the Miami Marlins. Got a little bit of big league time, so this should not be an intimidating night for the right-hander. He's a guy who's got a fastball, curveball, changeup, getting an opportunity, and maybe go 6 or 7 innings. He's got the cut fastball. He's going to be about 92 to 94. There's his numbers as a starter. And you know what? Not bad. Over 3.5 ERA. His record 2 games under 500, but the opponent's batting average is 245. The big thing about Cosart is command of the fastball down away to the righties. Let's see if he can command that tonight, Dick.
Sign of the time, sign of the season, 28th pitcher used by the Padres this year. Let's look at the Milwaukee Brewers. Very active final hours of the trade.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy going to Texas. The backstop for the Brewers got a good send-off when they were in Milwaukee, and Jeffress. And you know, you look at Will Smith, he was the only left-hander in the bullpen for the Brewers. The bullpen has been lights out. The month of July, they were just throwing the ball extremely well. Great numbers. Probably the second best bullpen in the National League. Not so much anymore. So it's going to be a lot of matchups in that Brewers bullpen when it comes late in the game.
They got 3 number 1 draft picks, young players in those trades, but they're without a big bat and an excellent arm in the bullpen. More on the trades. Julie Alexandria joins us coming up.
Welcome back to San Diego, everyone. Jared Cosart about to make his first start as a Padre. Now that we enter the post-trade deadline era, it's past 1 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. So let's get these next 2 months started. Well, in an unprecedented move today, the San Diego Padres reacquiring right-handed pitcher Colin Rea from Miami. He was originally included in the Andrew Cashner 7-player deal. Miami traded him back here to San Diego, and Luis Castillo goes back to Miami. Now, around the league, some notable moves for you. The Dodgers acquiring Rich Hill and Josh Reddick from Oakland, Jay Bruce to the Mets, Carlos Beltran traded to the Rangers, and Matt Moore traded to the Giants from the Rays. One guy super happy to have Colin Rea back in San Diego, that would be manager Andy Green, who called him today and was so excited, said it's like having family back in town. Colin Rea will return tomorrow. Coming up, Beat the Crew, Padres and Brew Crew about to get underway when we return.
Padres baseball brought to you by Ford of Escondido. You won't believe how low the prices go. By Petco, your complete pet store. By Jerome's Furniture, where Jerry's price is the lowest price every day. And by Pinnacle on the Park. Make your new home right here. Visit pinnacleonthepark.com for details. John Hirby Solarte, welcomed but only by the Padres, but by the Milwaukee Brewers as he comes back from a family concern. A beautiful 78-degree night as we open the month of August, and the Brewers here for the first of three tonight, tomorrow night, and a noon game on Wednesday. The Brewers lineup brought to you by Hyundai. Jonathan Villar is having a terrific season in that leadoff spot. Then Scooter Gennett. Hernan Perez bats third. Chris Carter with 24 homers, the cleanup man. Kirk Neuenhuis. Then Martin Maldonado, the catcher now, with Lucroy now in Texas. Ramon Flores in left. Keon Broxton is the center fielder hitting eighth. And then Jimmy Nelson, the pitcher.
Welcome to San Diego. Jared Cosart. His scouting report is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Hey, I like the number. Double nickel working tonight downtown. The fastball, curveball, changeup. Third base side gives a little deception to those right-handed hitters and that angle down into the lefties. So we're wishing good things for Jared Cosart tonight, the 26-year-old.
From Miami in the Andrew Cashner deal. He's 6'3", 206 pounds, 26 years of age, from Clear Creek, Texas. Into the batter's box, Jonathan Villar. Cosart ready for his first pitch as a San Diego Padre, and we're underway outside. Ball one, 93 on the fastball. You see a little tail on that two-seamer. Villar, not only a terrific base stealer, 38 stolen bases to lead the National League. He'll hit with some power. He's got 8 home runs. Switch hitter. Ball two.
That's one thing that the Brewers do so well. They steal a lot of bases, lead the league.
Second, the Padres. But the Padres are some 18 behind Craig Counsell's Brewers. And Cosart falls behind the leadoff hitter, 3-0. Plate umpire tonight is James Hoy, with Hudson Fairchild and crew chief Joyce on the bases.
This is really a weird Milwaukee Brewer team. They've got speed, second and fewest walks, but they punch out the most. I mean, it's either a walk or a strikeout.
Pat Murphy,
yeah,
the former manager of the Padres, the interim manager a year ago, now the bench coach. That's another strike. Villar looking to earn a walk, but that ball on the inside corner. Murphy and Craig Counsell, the connection there of Notre Dame, where Murphy coached the Irish and Counsell played his college ball in South Bend. Full count now to Villar. And he walked him. And if there is one concern for Cosart in his brief major league career, it is the fact that at times the command isn't there. They're bringing out some of the leftovers from the laundry and trying to get Murphy to sign his jersey from a year ago. Having a little fun with the Irishman. Scooter Gennett hitting .272. He's really raised his average since a very slow start back in April. Ball one. 10-game hitting streak for Gennett. That's his career best. Hike his average up to .272.
Well, when you have the speed of Villar at first base, Gennett should get a lot of fastballs. Very rarely will guys, they'll throw curveballs and off-speed stuff, but good chance of getting a fastball.
Missed outside, 2-0. A little wobbly with the control at the start, Cosart. We failed to identify the fact that in giving the Milwaukee starting lineup, Brian Braun is not in there as a starter. Ooh, closer than you might have thought at first as Villar decided not to dive back.
Kind of loses his balance, and he does a good job of keeping that foot on the bag. He just got a mid-step going towards second base. And, see, got to keep that glove on the guy. Maybe push a little bit too, right?
There's Braun hitting .321. Will Middlebrooks, former Padre, also there. Braun has a bad side, a sore side. And 3-0. Solardi's going to skip in from third base and try to offer some encouragement to Cosart. Hey, make him hit the ball. We'll help you out. Go back a century and decades, you still haven't found a defense for the base on balls.
Try hitting the shoe tops of your catcher. Get that pitch down.
Right in the middle of the plate, 3-1.
See that ball cut just a little bit?
He was a long shot, Cosart, out of high school, drafted in the 38th round by Philadelphia. Came up with the Houston Astros a couple of years and then to Miami. 3-2. Gets a call. The Brewers come in. They're 47 and 56, but in a nice little win streak. They won 4 in a row. They swept Pittsburgh over the weekend, and the 4 wins consecutively matches their best all year long. You got to figure VR's going here 3-2, and he's off, and it's ball 4. So Cosart worked to a couple full counts and then loses both VR and Jeanette on walks. That sets the table for Hernan Perez. Padres defense tonight brought to you by San Diego County Ford dealers. We've got Alexi Amarista out there in left field with Jankowski in center. Jabari Blash in right. There's Adam Rosales, the third. That is a late change here in the lineup. Didn't expect to see him. Rosales apparently inserted at shortstop tonight instead of Ramirez, and because Rendon has been sent back to San Antonio. So it's Solarte, Rosales, Schimpf at second, and Myers at first base with Norris behind the plate. There's Ramirez on the bench tonight. Perez has been a big surprise for these Brewers. He was picked up on waivers the past year, hitting .288, 7 home runs, 33 runs batted in, and comes off of July when he hit .312. Craig Counsell told us that of all the Brewers, here's one that really has emerged as a solid player, and wasn't expected much of him in spring. Takes another strike, 0-2.
Yeah, recently the 2 hot bats that are in the lineup tonight, Maldonado's been swinging the bat well, and as Dick mentioned, Hernan Perez. That visit from Darren Balsley, he's got to make that adjustment of getting that pitch down, maybe spin it, maybe stay back and not rush so much. I'm not saying it's every case, but when a pitcher misses consistently away, you're just kind of rushing a little bit. The arm is dragging just a tad.
Infield looking for a double play chance, and that one's over but low.
Well, the velocity's there at 95. So Will Myers off the bag at first base, and there's a huge hole that way. And in that gap in left center field with Travis Jankowski shading the first base side of second base up the middle.
A ball, 2 strikes to Perez. Way inside. VR and Jeanette at second and first. In the dirt, 3-2. So all 3 hitters have worked the count full. VR and Jeanette walking.
See, that's the one pitch where Cosart tried to go down and away to the righties. That's the glove side on the outside corner to the right-handed hitter.
Darren Balsley has already made a visit. See if the runners might be going here at 3-2. Big leads. Nope, they stay, and a swing and a miss. There's the first out of the first inning. And the first strikeout for Cosart as a Padre. A look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Well, with Jared Cosart, or I'm sorry, let's have a Solarte partay, since Solarte's back, right? And a little play on words there. Nothing wrong with having a partay with Solarte and Cosart.
Major D, you know,
Cosart's 7th and Major D.
Okay.
See, I'm going Mozart,
Well,
7th Symphony.
Yeah.
It was played in Major D. Plus, it's also nice to have Major D playing behind you. So that's where I was going there, Professor.
Boy, you stayed up late last night, huh?
Just trying to be a little creative. You
That's
know,
good.
nothing like a good symphony.
I was thinking you might try to work Rachmaninoff in there, but a little tougher on the.
Just wait till tomorrow.
Chris Carter with 24 homers, 59 runs batted in, leads Milwaukee in the power department. Hitting only .217. He strikes out a lot, 136 times this year.
And if there's a silver lining, he grounds into 13 double plays. He leads the Brewers in that category. So usually power guys, yeah, they overswing sometimes. Top it, you get yourself a grounder.
Late swing on the fastball. 2-1.
Well, see the drag mark and the divot where Jared puts the push-off foot. That's on the third base side where that toe is.
Better check the runners. And a fly ball to right. Blash easing back. That ball's really carrying, and Blash makes the catch halfway on the track. Both runners tag, and both will advance, and the throw gets away, but backed up by Cozart. That's why you've got to be alert. The pitcher headed over to back up third. That throw getting away. If he's not over there, Milwaukee has a run.
Well, you're absolutely right, Professor. Once that ball leaves your hand, you become a fielder. You can help out in a lot of ways. And believe me, backing up third many, many times, that's where you need to be on a play like this.
Schimpf's throw underneath the runner, Jeanette, going to second and all the way to third, where Cozart able to back it up. So second and third, 2 outs to Kirk Nieuwenhuis. Former Met, hitting .215 with 10 home runs. In the series at Milwaukee, they split 4 games. Nieuwenhuis had a very good series.
There's Cozart pushing off the third base side of the rubber. Now, when you're on the third base side, you really need to get extended to get down and away to a righty. Sometimes you get cut off, and it's up and away.
Fly ball to left, innocent. Rista squeezes the third out. So Jared Cozart, a rocky start, a couple of walks, but pitches out of trouble.
Swing and a miss, and he hits that one by him. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Carter gets into this. Norris drives one to deep left field. That ball is gone.
And welcome back. The opening game of this 3-game series with the Brewers, and then off day Thursday before the Phillies come in on the weekend. Let's check the Padres lineup tonight, brought to you by Toyota. Travis Jankowski in center to lead it off, and Alexi Amarista will bat second. Will Myers moves down to the third spot in the batting order with Matt Kemp gone. Jan Hirvis Solarte back after being gone a week with family issues. Ryan Schimpf in the fifth spot. Jabari Blash in right field hit sixth. Then Derek Norris, Adam Rosales eighth, and Jared Cozart against Jimmy Nelson, the 27-year-old Milwaukee right-hander, and his first pitch at 92 miles an hour.
All right, Jimmy Nelson, he's got a good pitcher's body. He's got some firm stuff to go along with that fastball, slider, curveball change. More sinkers, so look for the fastball when he's in a little bit of a pinch. He'll go to that number one. He averages about 92, 93 on the heater.
Back in the 4-game series in May in Milwaukee, he dueled James Shields but lost 3-0. Went 8 innings, allowed only 2 runs and 5 hits in defeat. The bunt. And the flip isn't in time. Well, there's the advantage of speed. Nelson got to the ball and looked as if he had a play, but a little trouble. What am I going to do? I'm going to throw it at such a short distance? Well, I'll try to flip it. And by the time he was able to get the ball out of his hand, Jankowski had crossed the bag. Oh, he had a little trouble getting it out of the glove.
Yeah, the biscuit was a little hot coming out of the oven right there. And Professor, good pick on pick the stick. We said it. Hey, you bunch your way on, you steal the bag, he's got a good chance of scoring a run. I think that's a great pick for pick the stick, Travis Jankowski.
That was the formula for the Padres in the Friday night game against Cincinnati. Well, it wasn't Friday. Let's go back to, no, it was the Sunday game where he singled, stole third eventually, and came in on a ground out for the early run. Amarista had a terrific series against the Reds. He was 6 for 9. Padres scored only 4 runs in the 3 games, and Amarista was right in the middle of the 4 runs. The troubling statistic from the Reds, who took 2 out of 3, was the Padres were 1 for 22 with runners in scoring position. So they had some chances.
And that's ironic you say that, Dick, because the Brewers, they've been in a big funk in that category as well. Runners in scoring position, a lot of strikeouts, just can't get the job done.
Sometimes they cut down on the swing just a bit and make contact. Situational hitting. Ryan Braun chatting with the pitching coach Derek Johnson. 1-1 to Amarista. By going 6 for 9 over the weekend, Alexei raising his average up to 278. Jankowski was leaning the other way, but able to make the dive back in time. Well, Ron Hirvis is very fond of the boots that they wear for the khaki browns, or the brown and orange uniforms, and he fouls that back, Amarista. Solarte and Amarista both going for that look. Not like the NFL where they have the police, the
code.
Yeah, you got the
You'll get written
uniform,
up in a heartbeat.
uniform, not only written up, they'll take your money. So Myers with a different look. I wonder if anyone's ever played barefooted. We're going way back in the majors.
Got field goal kickers, right, being barefoot.
Yeah, some sports. Our wonderful friend Bud Collins in tennis. When you played tennis with Bud Collins, he played in his bare feet. It was kind of, oh yeah, he always played in his bare feet, whether it was on clay or grass or the hard courts, and it was just kind of to get something in your head, you know. He'd be bouncing around.
Oh.
Yeah. Loser gets a pedicure. 1-2 to Amarista. Good action on the fastball by Nelson. Really tails away from the left-handed hitter.
Over 95 too, 96 running that way, and on that foul ball, Lexi had the right idea, trying to poke it that way. You know, one of the fun things to watch, how you doing, is Travis Jankowski on first base at a gapper. See him score from first base.
Pulled to the right side to second for the force, and Amarista safe. No double play, but they get the lead runner Jankowski as we check the Brewers defense, brought to you by National University. Flores, Broxton, Neuenhuis in the outfield. Around the horn, Perez, VR, Jeanette and Carter on the right side. Maldonado behind the plate. So 1 out for Wil Myers. Well, the trade of Matt Kemp to Atlanta is going to impact this man more than any other Padre, because now Myers is hitting with a different man behind him. He is not as protected as he was with Kemp in the lineup. We got more good pitches to see. It's going to be curious to follow now here in August and September. How they're going to pitch to Wil Myers.
And hopefully Will can get out of that funk, and the guy hitting behind him, Solarte, can get hot. So that'll change the whole dynamic there as Jan waits on deck.
Myers averaged down to 270. Takes a strike.
It looks like Nelson is changing speeds on his fastball. We've seen 93 this inning. We've seen 96. We've seen some tail. We've seen some straight ones. He will throw the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer.
Will was hitting 286 going into the All-Star break, so lost 16 points on his average. And trying to become a rare Padre to collect 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases in a season. He needs just one more steal. He got 2 yesterday to hit the 2020 club. Be the 9th ever player to do it. 94 in the fastball. That one gets away, and Amarista the second. He'll take a turn and hold as Maldonado goes back for the ball. That's the wild pitch, and the Padres have a man in scoring position.
Looking like Nelson with the curveball or a slider. Ball checks back up and right through the arm on the side of the chest protector. Doesn't even get a piece of Maldonado. Oh, the shoes make him look so fast.
Golden boots. So Myers, who leads the club with 64 runs batted in, a chance here. Low and away. And a full count to Myers. Too low. The Padres have a couple of runners aboard here in the first inning with 1 out. Bunt single and a walk. Jan Solarte. Good to welcome John Hirvis back to the lineup. His bat has been missed. Hitting 290. That's the best of any Padre.
Well, both pitchers having a tough time finding their groove, and hopefully the Padres can capitalize on the little bit of wildness by Jimmy Nelson.
Eight of the 10 home runs hit by Solarte from the left side. Amarista from second, Myers at first. And he comes out swinging. As you know, his reputation, and well deserved and earned, is that he usually takes a pitch or takes until a strike is thrown, but he comes out swinging tonight.
Kind of I'm surprised also, Dick, because that was a first pitch breaking ball that was really not in the sweet spot as far as, you know, a pitch you could really crush.
Up the middle, right at the bag. That makes the rest easy. 6-3 double play. So neither team able to take advantage of a couple of base runners in the opening inning.
anticipated time of the year. But you know, it's same day as yesterday and the day before that. Show up, play a baseball game.
Yesterday, when you had your at-bat to pinch hit, did you think that that may be your last time in a Padres uniform?
It was the last thing really on my mind. I mean, more importantly is pinch hit to try and hopefully, you know, tie the game and maybe try and get on base, whatever, try and win a game. But no, it didn't really cross my mind. I mean, my parents said something about it last night when I talked to them, but I didn't. Before then, not really.
Well, with the non-waiver trade deadline come and gone today, everybody, I believe, can just breathe a sigh of relief. It is over for Derek Norris, a very high anxiety time for him. He described it as such. I mean, he was the center of so much trade chatter, but Andy Green happy that he can move past it. And he said it's been a distraction for him. I can't imagine what that's like for a player. Mud, I know you've been through it. How stressful is this time of the year?
It is stressful, Julie, and thank you very much. And there is a load off the shoulders of everybody in that clubhouse, the coaching staff, the manager. And it almost gets to the point, Julie and Professor, that, okay, we're past that. Hey, guys, we're all in this together right now, the last 2 months of the season. Let's put a streak together. Let's win some ball games. Hey, we're a unit. We're probably going to be intact the rest of the year. So let's go have some fun and win some baseball games.
Oh, absolutely. And here's Martin Maldonado. He now inherits the starting catching duties with Jonathan Lucroy, traded to Texas. He's had only 84 at-bats this year, 202 average with 4 homers. Not a lot of activity in Craig Counsell's batting order when you get down to Maldonado. He's hitting 202, then Flores behind him 209, then Broxton hitting 8th 171, and then the pitcher spot. So without Ryan Braun in the lineup, not much there.
And that's where Cozart needs to pound the zone. Be aggressive. Go right after these guys.
Boy, there's a shot to left field. Maldonado, who doesn't have many hits on the season, sends a rope to lead off the second. First Milwaukee hit.
Four-seam fastball. And see where Derek Norris was? That's the glove side I'm talking about. But it's right over the heart of the plate. In between that belt buckle and the number 12 on the jersey of Maldonado.
That'll bring up Ramon Flores, the left fielder, hitting just 209. At the knees, strike one. Inside, 1-1.
League City, Texas. I have no idea where it is, Professor. Do you know where it's at?
Well, it's near Clear Creek.
That narrows it down. Yeah, there you go.
In the dirt, 2-1. Both pitchers struggling with their early control.
You know, the curveball was a good pitch for Cozart last inning. He finished it off. That first inning, no runs scored, but he threw a couple of good curveballs. As you see the breakdown. And the ratio not looking too good right now.
Late swing and a weak wave. 2-2. Well, the Brewers on the road have fought hard to get any wins at all. And committed himself, just followed through. 17 wins is all they've been able to collect away from Milwaukee. And that's the least number for any National League team and tied for the least in the entire majors. Up the middle could be 2. Schimpf to Rosales and back to Myers for the double play. Good old double play, and there's 2 away now in the second.
Oh, the kick of the bag, and Rosales over the top. A nice feed from Schimpf. Room service written all over it. There's the kick of the bag. And the strike to Wil Myers.
Rosales primarily working at third base and second, getting a chance at shortstop tonight. That'll bring up center fielder Keon Broxton. Just 82 at bats for this young outfielder with 14 hits. That comes out at 171. On the corner.
By the way, League City near Houston in the Woodlands area.
That's what I said. Right near Clear Creek.
There's got to be a Clear Creek in Texas, right?
Absolutely. Big wave and a miss. Good curveball.
Well, you can see the stuff of Cozart if he gets the feel for that cutter and that curveball. It can be tough to hit.
Oh, 0-2. Broxton, he's 25 from Lakeland, Florida. Selected by the Diamondbacks back in 2009, a third-round pick. Came up to Pittsburgh for a cup of coffee late last year, his first major league action. Milwaukee got him from Pittsburgh in a minor trade in the offseason. A lot of pitches so far for Jarred Cozart. 38 to require 5 outs.
You know, it seems popular these days. More and more pitchers are going to the side set. They say the side saddle delivery. And Cozart falls under that category, like Drew Pomerantz did. It's almost as if they're in the stretch position. And then they just step, in Cozart's case, towards first base to get a little rocking motion. He'll start right there and then into the leg kick.
Chop foul past third.
I know everybody's different. I like to get the old shoot rock fire motion going. Get the arms, get the legs.
You know, the evolution of the windup in baseball is really quite fascinating when you go back to even in the 40s and 50s, where pitchers not only would swing both arms back, they'd even do a circular motion with the pitching arm and then rock and fire. 3-2.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Don Larson go from the no windup?
He was about the first that I remember. Larson.
Yeah. He just kind of stood on the rubber and just stepped towards the plate.
Yeah. That's how they did it over there at Point Loma.
Yeah.
Classic no-hitter in the World Series. Full count, 2 outs. Bases empty. Eight pitch at bat for this duel between Broxton and Cozart. Interesting skid marks there on the mound.
Well, the mounds these days too, Dick. I mean, they stay intact because of that clay mixture. And you know, back in the old days, you get that big old hole right in front of that pitcher's plate, and then the landing area.
Got him off speed. Second strikeout for Cozart. Padres come up. No score in the bottom of the second. It'll be Ryan Schimpf leading it off for San Diego. Ram Trucks tools of the trade.
Well, if you missed it, 6th inning yesterday, Homer Bailey, watch, he throws a pitch. Okay, he's upset with, the pitch, the walk. He's, okay, I'll get the ball back. He turns it back. Look at Barnhart. Barnhart, the catcher, is also looking in the dugout. Bailey's looking to, check out the good-looking girl up in the DVT. And Will Myers
walks home.
He just walks home. Thank you very much for the free run, a gift run.
It's an interesting tool. You don't even have to go to full speed. Just kind of jog in for a run.
So that's a base runner paying attention to what's going on and checking out the surroundings and the actions of the opposing pitcher and catcher.
But unfortunately, prior to that, Amarista tried to score on a short pass ball or wild pitch and was out at the plate. The Myers run made it 3-2, and that's the final score. Schimpf hitting .224. A great July, 9 home runs, more than any player in Major League Baseball. He has secured his role here in San Diego. Weak swing there, tied up. Corey Spanchenberg, his injury and then re-injured and re-injured again, giving somebody a chance, Schimpf an opportunity, and he's taken full advantage. Two and one. Jabari Blash and then Derek Norris here in the Padres second.
You know what I've noticed recently? Ryan Schimpf, pitchers are pounding him in. They've been pounding the fastball in consistently. We look at the home runs he is hitting, right? He's getting extended. Maybe some off-speed stuff in the zone. I'll tell you, word travels quickly.
Yes, sir. And then the hitter has to make the adjustment.
Yep.
Smothers another, and the count remains 2-2. That kettle corn is good, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, you can smell it from. Hey, none for you. Look at
you're out of there.
Oh, that's funny.
A long drive to right. To the wall goes the right fielder, can't get it. Neuenhuis plays it in, and Schimpf will hold at second with a double. Boy, that had a lot of top spin. Off the bat, it looked as if that was going to be a solo home run, but it had so much top spin it drops over the shoulder of Neuenhuis, and a leadoff double for Schimpf.
Curveball, like I said, in the zone. That's the danger zone for Schimpf. Now let's check out Neuenhuis after Ryan belts this one. We knew it was going to be at least a double. Puts on the brakes, and Neuenhuis just gave up on it. Maybe he felt that wall creeping in. You got the angles out there. Really not too familiar with the right field corner, and it works to the advantage of Ryan Schimpf.
So Jabari Blash and Norris and possibly Rosales with a runner in scoring position here in the second. Oh, and Blash hit by that fastball at 93. Thank goodness it got him up around the shoulder or arm. That was in a nasty spot.
Two-seamer wanted to bury it in, and Jabari turning the right way, showing the name and number. Looks like got it off the tricep. That's scary. Anytime the ball comes up and in like that.
Nelson's 11th batter hit by a pitch, leading the team. Derek Norris. This past week, I think Norris and most of the Padre fans felt that it was 50-50 whether he'd be playing in a San Diego uniform on this Monday night. And he stays at home, hoping to break out of a tough slump of about 3 weeks. His average down to 193. Back to Nelson with hit batsman. That leads the National League. 11. And that's from a man from Niceville, Florida. 1-1. Also pitched with the Crimson Tide at Alabama. But his high school was Niceville, Florida.
Nothing nice about getting hit in the arm.
No. It's closer to Meanville, which is a twin city to Niceville. Powers that fastball through the swing. Norris 1-2.
And he's still not afraid to pound it. I mean, that's why he's probably hit so many batters and leads the league now, because being aggressive with that fastball, and sometimes it's going to get away.
Way off the bag at first base is Carter, so Blash has a huge lead. In the dirt, squeezes under Maldonado, and both runners will advance. A double, a hit batsman, and a wild pitch, and the Padres are in business here, second and third with no one out.
I thought that was a very catchable ball from Maldonado. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? After a second look, I would call that a pass ball.
And once it hits the dirt, normally the official score calls it a wild pitch, but at the moment he's ruled that a pass ball. Two and two to Norris. Chopped to short. Runner coming to the plate will score. The out made at first, and the Padres lead at 1-0. Credit Norris with his 34th RBI.
Well, we saw it last night with the speed of Jankowski getting out with the base hit, stealing the base, scoring a run, double, hit batsman, pass ball, RBI for Derek Norris. Bark in the park tonight. A lot of barking going on out there. Oh.
Happy birthday.
Bark at the park tonight on this Monday. And tomorrow night, Taco Tuesday.
Nice.
Rosales, strike one. His bat producing the only win in the series against the Reds. The 10th inning home run, his 8th of the year. Blash off second. One and one. And as we suspected, the official score after seeing the replay, the ball hits the dirt. It's more or less in the books that that's a wild pitch and not a pass ball. And the difference there is with the wild pitch, that's an earned run, where a pass ball, it would be unearned. Outside. Well, Nelson has been a Jekyll and Hyde pitcher in terms of home and away. At home, his ERA is 2.62. On the road, it's more than 2 runs higher, 4.69. That ball hit high in the air, fairly deep to left. Flores circling under it for the second out. And here's Jared Cozart, the pitcher. 1 hit in 6 at bats with the Marlins. Chance to help himself. One career RBI. Looks out of an open stance and chops one to third. Charged by Perez. And that's it for the Padres, but they're able to get the leadoff double from Shem. He comes around on a ground out. We'll be talking with General Manager A.J. Preller. Lots of information to be shared when he joins us, top of the third inning. As we go to the third inning, the Padres with a 1-0 lead. With all the movement of players, new faces in the clubhouse, it doesn't hurt to, introduce yourself to your new teammates. So Matt Thornton, just in case you don't know who I am. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Matt.
That's what I love about baseball. You'd never see that in the NFL.
No.
You'd never see that in the NBA. Hockey, you wouldn't see that. There's so many games and a lot of time to kill. Hey, Matt Thornton saying, you know what? Hey, guys, Brewers, welcome to San Diego, America's finest city.
Bullpen stacked one atop the other with the visiting bullpen just above the Padres out there in left center field. Well, Thornton has been around the major leagues for more than a decade, so he has a lot of friends. Pitcher Jimmy Nelson to start it for Milwaukee. Then it'll be VR and Jeanette in the third. Nelson 4 hits this year and 3 RBIs. There's his career numbers. It's the start of a 6-game road trip for the Brew Crew. 3 here and then 3 in Arizona. The 1-1.
Big frame, 6'6", 250. Jimmy Nelson. Oh, look at him choke up on that bat right there. Working a little bat control for the pitcher.
2-1. Good genes, good athletic genes for Jimmy Nelson. His dad, Jim, was an athlete, played football. And his mother, don't know about her. I do know. Deborah, basketball, Florida State. And Dad Jim, football at Florida. See, I did know. I mean, it was in the back of my mind. I knew he had good genes.
Oh.
And good enough to earn a leadoff walk, a double no-no from Cozart. Walk the leadoff man, walk the pitcher. Third walk allowed so far.
All right, 2-week cross-country honeymoon. Yeah, all right. Well, first of all, congratulations. They've been to Dodger Stadium, Angel Stadium, now Petco. They're on their way all the way to Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, they're going to go through Arizona.
Colorado, Kansas City, St. Louis, up to Wisconsin, America's Dairyland, Chicago.
Yeah, that's what I call a real honeymoon, huh?
Yeah, good for them.
I mean, all this, folks go to these exotic islands and go off where, and the real honeymoon is going to a lot of baseball games.
You bet.
I wonder if he had her check the boxes and say, okay, sport loved, how much you love it, 1 to 10. Baseball, okay, you're the one. Here's a ring. Maybe it was her. Hey, she might have said, hey, do you like baseball? Yeah,
that's true.
They're the best fans we have, the women. VR walked the first time, and he's got Cozart in the hole 2-0 on this occasion.
In fact, wasn't it? There was the movie Diner back in the 80s. Shocker. But this guy was wanting to marry this woman, big Baltimore Colts fan.
Oh, had to pass the test.
And she had to pass the Baltimore Colts test in order for him to drop the ring on her and say, okay, you are worthy enough to get married.
But as ridiculous as that sounds, if you're going to have a partnership that's going to last years and years, decades and decades, you have to have some common love about something.
Sure.
3-0.
Boy, that pitch up and away and down and away. Just Cozart cannot find the release point to that outside part of the plate.
Do you have Mary take a test before you gave her the ring?
She's not really a baseball fan.
Okay, and that didn't bother you, did it?
No, it didn't bother me one bit.
Okay.
How about you and Barbara?
She likes tennis. And I think in some ways, when you go home after a game, the last thing you want to do is go home and talk about the game you just talked about. And it's kind of nice to say, she'll say, how'd you do tonight? I said, won. How'd you do tonight? Lost. Okay, let's go on with the rest of the.
Right.
And so I think there's an advantage to not having a common interest in something in particular. And you share different things. And I like the areas in which she favors, and she's patient with me.
Right.
Kind of. Swinging and a miss. And from 3-0, Cozart able to rally and strike out VR for his third punch out.
This looks like a backdoor cutter. Let's check it out. Yep, it's a cutter. It's up a little bit, but VR swings and misses way behind that pitch.
So walking the control tightrope is Jared Cozart, but no damage done as yet. One out to Scooter Gennett. He walked the first time. High foul. That's way up in the night. Going to sail deep into the second deck off to the right.
Oh, how sweet is that? A Brew Crew fan on the right and a Padre fan on the left. See, we can coexist, right?
Absolutely. She's telling him, how to follow the game here. Now, see what you got to know now. You might go for a little hit and run here. You got a man on first, one out. He's saying maybe you could pick up the pace of the game a little bit here.
I think he's hoping for a squeeze play probably later.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Not the suicide squeeze.
No.
Just the squeeze. That's costly squeeze, man. I mean, you don't want to even suggest that to your wife. Oh, constrictor, man. Two and one to Scooter Gennett. Pitcher Nelson at first. That's in there on the inside edge. Outside, and another full count.
Notice all those pitches away, some up and away. It's been a constant theme, consistent theme tonight.
The 7th full count, and we're just in the 3rd inning with 1 out. Another walk. Jeanette has walked both appearances. 4 now in the game for Cozart. He's at 60 pitches. Well, the Brewers very busy in the final hours of the trading market, sending Lucroy and Jeffress to the Rangers, and also Will Smith to the Giants. And in those trades, they collected 3 #1 draft picks, 3 young players. Outfielder Lewis Brinson, a right-handed pitcher Luis Ortiz, and from San Francisco, right-handed pitcher Phil Bickford, all first-round picks.
You know, the one thing that sticks out to me for this trade is Will Smith and Jeffress. Okay, Jeffress was the closer. Saved a lot of games for the Brewers. Will Smith, the only left-hander out of that bullpen. So they lose 2 key parts.
Yeah, Jeffress had 27 saves.
So no lefty in the bullpen for the Brewers now, and they're a man short tonight because of the trade. 24-man roster for Craig Counsell.
2 on to Perez, who struck out the first time. 1 away. Chases the breaking ball and blocked by Norris.
Anticipating that number 2, there's the curveball. Okay, you turn the glove over, you drop down to a knee, you square up as well as you can towards the pitcher's mound. And Derek Norris keeps it in reach.
You don't block those just by accident. That goes all the way back to spring training. Hours catches will have balls thrown in the dirt to them from short range. You know, blocking the goal.
How about when we go over to spring training, right? We go where the mounds are,
yeah,
and then where they're covered, and they're just pummeling the catchers. They're working on blocking those balls out in front of home plate.
Yeah, it's a prideful accomplishment. You don't let that ball get by you. 1-1. Outside. And Carlos Villanueva getting ready, the long man in the Padre pen. That was the concern of Cozart, a reputation. He does have problems with his control, and it's revealed itself tonight with 4 walks. And 3-1 on the hitter Perez.
You know, that's one little nugget that Darren Balsley told me before the game, the pitching coach for the Padres. And it sounds so repetitious, but it's true. He needs to trust his fastball, meaning be aggressive with it in the zone. Don't try to nitpick. As we take a look at Darren. Trust it. Command it.
3-1. Bases are loaded on walks. Started with the leadoff walk to the pitcher Nelson. After the strikeout VR, Jeanette and Perez walking, and they're all loaded up. And here comes Andy Green to the mound with a trainer. Maybe there's something physically wrong with Jared Cozart. 5 walks, and they're looking at a finger. Suspect a fingernail or a blister. Cozart hasn't pitched a lot this year. May not have all those calluses that develop over the course of a busy baseball year.
Trainer Will Simon having a look with Andy Green.
So on Wildness, the Brewers have the bases loaded, and their cleanup hitter and home run power man Chris Carter stepping up. And if you're the experienced Carter, in some instances where a pitcher is having trouble with his control, walks the bases loaded, you want to take a pitch until he throws you a strike. But in this case, first ball hunting perhaps.
No question. Hey, if it's right there, Dick, in that hot spot for Carter, he's going to be hacking.
4 runs on 1 swing. And he is swinging. Could be two. Solarte to second for one. Back to first. A double play. Oh, my. From disaster, you erase the threat with a double play ball. We'll see whether or not the Brewers are going to challenge that. It's a slow reaction for the base runner to come back to the dugout. Here's the replay. Tough to tell from that angle. And he might be safe. Pat Murphy, the bench coach, on the phone. The role of the bench coach, as it is with Mark McGwire with the Padres. Checking with the video control back in the clubhouse of the Brewers. And then they call Hibbing, Minnesota. And Hepzibah, she's pretty good at this. Just give her enough time and she'll let you know whether or not. See, this is where they've got to speed it up. I mean, I think any sane baseball fan would feel that way. And apparently not enough evidence to challenge. Good. Double play, inning over. Bails them out. Bottom of the third, a 1-0 San Diego lead. A.J. Preller, the general manager of the San Diego Padres, joins us. A very busy time for you all the way through. You know, the June draft, then the international signings, and then the trade element of your job. Do you enjoy that part of it? Being on the phone, what do you think about this deal? Somebody calls you. Are you interested in this?
Yeah, it's an exciting time overall. I mean, I think sometimes you go through a lot of different ideas, and then maybe you get to a certain point in time, and then most of the trade ideas end up not working out. So sometimes that gets a little frustrating, but in general, it's fun. I think the last few months, just acquiring players, acquiring talent, it's been a good run. I think our group, our scouting group on the pro, amateur, international side, and the front office have done it's been a lot of fun working with those guys. They've done a great job.
The most current deal was the re-trade of Colin Ray coming back and the young pitcher going to the Marlins. That was all part of the Cashner deal. How did that come about today?
Yeah, basically after Colin was injured on Saturday night and pitching for the Marlins, they talked to us about revisiting the deal. We had some difference of opinion in terms of a couple things about the deal, and ultimately ended up working out where we were able to come to agreement to them to take Colin back. And I think as we mentioned when we made the trade, Colin was not somebody that we were looking to to move or talking to other teams about. He's probably the toughest person to move in the deal. He's a young starting pitcher that we think a lot of. So when we had the opportunity to reacquire him, we jumped at it and went from there with it. So.
It wasn't as if he was damaged goods, but he did injure himself in the first start. So that's the implication. But in your case, just in terms of goodwill, were you also thinking the ground ball deep in the hole, and that's not going to be able to be fielded and safe at first base? is Travis Jankowski to lead off the third inning with an infield hit. He's 2 for 2.
Yeah, there's I think a lot that goes into all these deals, and ultimately you want deals in situations that both teams are happy and both teams feel content with it. And I think when you make a deal in terms of you want Andrew Cashner to go to Florida and go to Miami and pitch well and help them get to the playoffs, and you want both teams to have that to have a good feeling, and we were able to work that out with the Marlins and get Colin back today.
So what's the latest with Colin? Any reports on it?
Yeah, he actually, he saw, talked to him today earlier in the day. He had seen a couple doctors, didn't have a diagnosis yet, just gotten an MRI. But I think, when we made the deal, I think we'll bring him back here, tonight to San Diego. He'll see our doctors tomorrow. We'll have a little more update tomorrow on it.
It's ironic, AJ, is that he threw the ball so well in Toronto. I mean, he was hitting his spots, and that's a good lineup. I was really impressed, and it's just one of those bad timing things. Well, hopefully he's okay, and it's nothing really major.
Yeah, stuff-wise, I mean, he's made his starts. He's been stuff like you mentioned. The last start that we saw in Toronto, 92, 95, the velocity good. The stuff was crisp. It's just nature of pitching, honestly, these days. You go out and we've seen it with some prospects. We've seen it with some different guys. Hard to predict. I think we're always trying to find the answers to figure that thing out. But that's why again, in a lot of these deals we've added pitching. We've added pitching in the draft on the international side, and it is a numbers game. You need quality, but you definitely need quantity to get graduate guys to the big leagues.
It would appear that from the general manager's point of view, that of all the positions on the field, ground ball up the middle, this could be 2 for Milwaukee, 6-3, and another double play. It's a night full of DPs, each side with 2 so far. Well, let's look at some of the deals made so far this year. Top prospects now. This is the list through all the trades and those players that were in the farm system at the very start of the year. As you look at them all, is there any 1 or 2 players that excite you, feel that they might be closer to the big leagues than others?
I mean, I think the good news, and there are a lot of guys on that list that excite us, and there's a lot of guys that aren't on that list, that we feel good about. I think we're starting to build a system that's deep. And I think we're starting to build a system that has impact players, and guys that could potentially impact you at a big way at an all-star level at the big league, the big league side. So, I think when you look at Cal Quantrill and Adrian Morejon, you have a college starter out of the draft out of Stanford, then you have 17-year-old Cuban lefty. But I think the thing that those guys having, basically the thing that those guys have in common is both strike throwers, both guys that have out pitches, both guys that have good changeups, and both guys that are really competitive and a big-time makeup and pedigree. So, I think our instructional league and our second half of the minor league is going to look a lot different. And that's usually when you start building something, is when you're able to go from affiliate to affiliate, and then eventually to the big league team, and you start to see depth throughout the system, and guys that look out on the field, and you have 5 or 6 guys that have a chance to impact you. And I think we're starting to get to that point. And
there's some, when you look back at the great teams, often they have come up through the system as a team, and then they reach the major leagues. It's not here, you take one from here and one from there, one from there, and you build this camaraderie and a feeling that this is the Padres style all the way from low A to the big leagues. There's something to say for that.
Yeah, it's a big part of our program is trying to get, I think we have a lot of guys that are in that, that A-ball group or that rookie ball grouping, and to get those guys started, at this point in their career, we can start building that Padre way. I think it's really important. I think you see it in a lot of successful shops, not just in baseball, throughout different sports, and that's what we're aiming for.
Will Myers walks for the second time.
Another way I look at things, AJ, with the abundance of prospects in the minor leagues, low A, double A, is that as time goes on, I mean, let's face it, you'd be the first to admit not every one of those guys is going to hit, right? Doesn't mean they're not talented, but through the course of time, maybe a year or 2, maybe 3, those are chips that you can use in a trade another way.
No doubt.
Correct?
I mean, yeah, I think you see it today. You see it's currency, and as a general manager to be able to go out and acquire players, you need players other teams like, and you need a lot of them, and you need also you need to have the ability to feel like, hey, if you have 3 shortstops, you can trade one, and you're still going to have 2 left in your system that can help impact you. So. It's the name of the game. It's obviously been the focus for us over the last 6 months or so, and really in the last year and a half since I've been on the job. And it's been nice to see here in the last couple of months us be able to acquire some players that we feel like are going to be Padres for a long time.
Did any of your scouts in their report, when it came to Josh Naylor, write down the name Prince Fielder?
Yeah, that's always been the natural comparison, I think, with Josh. But I think our guys, whether it's Don Welke or Dave Post or basically any number of guys that have talked to Josh, and the biggest thing to say is
That ball just fouled off the bat of Solarte, and Myers was running on the pitch. By the way, he went 2 for 5 last night at Lake Elsinore, Naylor.
Yeah, no, he's a guy that really from the time he got on the scene, which is, as a 15, 16-year-old on Team Canada, he's always hit. He hits with power. He's a professional hitter, even at a young age. He's holding his own in the Midwest League. We decided to send him to Lake Elsinore because we have another prospect, Brad Zunica, that's getting a lot of time and developing there in Fort Wayne. So we wanted both those guys on the field playing. He had a couple hits last night, Josh, but it's I think the easy comp is there's the Prince Fielder comp, and we'll take it.
Yeah.
So.
There goes Myers again, and right through the open hole as Solarte punches a single to left field, beats the shift, and the Padres have runners at the corners with 2 outs. Nice piece of hitting by Solarte. That's an unusual hit and run.
Yeah, did you see him get on top of that? That pitch was up, it was away, and he just gets on top of it enough. There's movement on the infield and means movement on the base pass, and a free 90 feet for Will Myers.
Can you give us any more insight into Matt Kemp? Were you able to talk at all with Kemp before he left town?
Yeah, no, he got him in the clubhouse and talked to him, before the deal, and he was thankful for the opportunity, and he was, he said, hey, I wish it was different in terms of, we gone to the postseason last year, and as a group played a little bit better, but I think he was excited, go somewhere else and try a different, different situation as well, and I think the deal from our standpoint really came down to creating some flexibility dollar-wise, and I think we got a lot of flexibility in that, and in that deal, and ability to potentially reallocate that to other players and other things that are going to help us overall as a club, and then opportunity. I think the Kemp and Upton deals for us was about getting some financial flexibility, but really creating opportunity for an Alex Dickerson or Jabari Blash, or potentially down the road Hunter Renfroe or Manny Margot, guys that they've done everything they really can do at the AAA level, or getting to that point. And, we really need to give those guys a chance here in the big leagues to see what they can do. And I think, like in the case of Dickerson or Jankowski, they've gotten an opportunity in the last couple of weeks or last month.
Shemp rips it, but foul.
And I think it's a chance for us to find out if they're going to be, regular type big league players, or they're going to be, potentially plus players. But it's hard doing that if you're only getting at bats once a week behind, some veteran, really talented outfielders. So, I think that was, definitely part of the rationale for making the deals, and I think that, going to be a big part of the next couple of months is taking a look at the Dickerson or a Shim for a Blash, and kind of seeing where they fit in for us going into next year too.
Will we see Renfroe and Margot in September?
Yeah, I think right now they're part of a team in El Paso that's playing well, and they'll probably get into the playoffs. But I think that's
high pop up back of home plate. And it's going to carry just over the screen into about the third row.
That, those are the discussions when our scouts go in, or those are the discussions with our minor league coaches and managers, are exactly when is the right time, And I think there's never really there's no exact formula exactly when is the moment to bring those guys up. But I think part of it is making sure you have opportunity for them in the big league level, and there's going to be certain things on their development card and on their development kind of checkpoints that we want to see. And I think when it gets to the point where we feel like they've done those things, they've done everything they can at the AAA level, then we'll bring them to San Diego.
Of all the players you've acquired, have you seen them personally?
I've seen a lot, but I think the biggest thing we have a really good staff. We have guys that I trust a lot.
And down goes Shim. Have a chance for a final goodbye here before you.
You want to stick around?
Yeah, we
stay
can go.
For the top of the fourth
go
inning?
One more half. Yeah,
all right. The check's in the mail already just for a half inning. We'll continue with A.J. Preller right after this. after 3. The Padres are run on 4 hits, no errors. They've left 4, and the Brewers no runs and 1 hit, have stranded 4. Their base traffic coming from 5 walks from starter Jared Cozart. You're examining now Cozart, one of the acquisitions from the Marlins in the Cashner deal. Your scouting department obviously recommended him.
Yeah, I think, a guy like we had mentioned with, in the outfield with Dickerson and with Blash is a guy that, has had some opportunity at the big league level. And I think, when, in dealing, possibly 2 starters with Cashner and Ray, we made in that deal, looking for long-term talent, but also looking for some guys that can go in the rotation right now. And with Jared, he's always, he has a great arm. He's a guy that, usually in somewhere in the low to mid 90s. I think it's, cut fastball life, and just really getting consistency in the zone, starting to figure out his secondary stuff. And, I think just giving him innings to see if he can be in, a real part of a major league rotation. So
we're going to see Luis Perdomo tomorrow night, and your scouting department did a great job, and it was really a gamble for the Padres, was it not? Rule 5, that's what they are. You've got to stay with them all year long, or you give them back to the original team. Out 4-3 is Neuenhuis to start the 4th inning for the Brewers. And when we saw Perdomo the first 2 or 3 starts, he had trouble, and we wondered how patient would the organization be. Looks like it's going to really pay off.
Yeah, I think that part of development, is definitely the patience part of it, and giving guys opportunity to fail a little bit and then seeing how they respond to it. I think, from the scouting side, last year Logan White went in and he was kind of making his rounds, seeing, that trade deadline time. And he came back and, talked about Luis as a really athletic, right-hand pitcher in the Cardinals system. Good delivery, good arm action, does it easy. And, really he was a guy in low A last year. And, to take that jump to the big leagues, obviously, these are the best players in the world, and that's a tough jump for anybody, even if you've been to each level of the minor leagues. And for him to do it from low A, we knew we were going to be patient, but in spring training we saw kind of what Logan was talking about. And, obviously he's been able to kind of refine that sinker and make that a real weapon for him. And it looks like he's got a bright future in front of him. And he just keeps getting better and better as the year goes on, and hopefully has a strong last month or so.
AJ, the one guy that really sticks out, I love my guys in the bullpen. They're my guys. Ryan Buchter, can you think back to what was said, what was written when his name was brought up, and having him sign with the Padres, because he has been lights out.
Yeah, our guys both, guys in the office, guys in the field, Pete DeYoung, Josh Stein, Brian McBurney, those guys do a great job identifying, you got to find guys in all different areas, not just the high profile prospect in the trade or the first round pick. I think, you're always looking for guys, because, players are coming from everywhere. And I think with the Ryan Shimps and obviously Ryan Buchter and Brad Hand additions, those are guys that, I think they've been low cost acquisitions that have done really well.
Looked like that may have just nicked Maldonado's. So with 1 out, he's aboard. He has the only hit, a line drive single the first time up. Let's see. Didn't try to get out of the way, did he?
I think with Buchter specifically, we saw the big body, and I think the biggest thing we saw was a fastball that had a chance to really play, and a fastball that had a chance to miss bats, and not looking at the radar gun. He throws hard, anywhere in the 91, 94 for a lefty, but the fastball really played, and you could tell, both at the different stops he spent in the minor leagues. We got a chance to see him in winter ball last year in Mexico close. I think everybody as a group, and Andy Green had a chance to talk to him beforehand and kind of talk to him about opportunity as we were kind of recruiting him in the winter as a 6-year free, and it's worked out really well for him. He's taken the opportunity and done great with it this year.
Flores grounded into a double play the first time. A couple of double plays turned by the Padre infield. And then with all the scouting and all the information and going through the process, and then now and then you even sign a player that wasn't drafted at all, a kid named Selecki, is that right? There's some kid down in that is hitting over 400 early on. Yeah,
Tyler Selesky.
Selesky.
I think it's definitely, I think constantly talk about it from the scouting group, is that it's a 40-round draft, and sometimes post-draft, there's still good players out there. You see it in the big leagues every night. There are guys that come from, all different areas, whether it's independent ball. There are guys that are low draft picks, and Mike Piazza going in the 62nd round. So, there are players everywhere, and you want to be open-minded and not just really focus on the guys that that are getting attention in a showcase setting or things like that. And I think that's how you continue to build a system. That's what we've been trying to do.
So with all the hard work done, a couple of weeks in Fiji next week, or
Yeah, no, I think the baseball calendar for everybody, it's nonstop, and I think even in the next month. I mean, but, teams, there's still trades potentially to be made. Guys have to then get through waivers, so you start that game of, seeing if teams are going to block guys or let them get through, and contending teams are always constantly trying to make decisions on that end of it. But there's always a lot to be done. We kind of wrap up the minor league season here in the next few weeks. We get into instructional league, so baseball calendar is pretty full year round.
Well, it looks like Cozart's lack of control has cost him. He's hit a batter and walked his sixth man. So Andy Green comes out to make a pitching change. He would like to have let Cozart go longer, but that strike zone jumping around on him, and that'll give us a chance to thank you, AJ. Congratulations on all the hard work done.
AJ, thanks.
We look forward to the future.
Thank you guys.
Exciting for all of us. Thank you. Break in the action. The Padres lead 1-0.
Off in the special Tuesday night edition of MLB on FS1. Yadier Molina and the Cardinals will be seeing red when they collide with Joey Votto and the Cincinnati Reds in a game that you can only see on FS1. The action begins tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go.
And of course, here on Fox Sports San Diego, we'll be aboard at 6:30 with Padres Live, the pregame show with Perdomo going against Zach Davies, an 8-4 record for Milwaukee. Carlos Villanueva in to pitch here with 2 on, 1 out, and faces the number 8 hitter Keon Broxton, who struck out the first time. So Cozart goes 3 1/3, gives up only 1 hit, but walked 6 and hit 1. Struck out 3.
Well, the bullpen's got to be on alert tonight. Chew up some innings. As Jared Cozart just couldn't find that command of that fastball. He threw some good curveballs. He threw some good cutters, but the 6 walks didn't help. Just couldn't get that location down and away to the righties and down and in. Plus, he had to deal with that little blister on his right thumb that they took a look at as well.
Swing and a miss as he challenged Broxton. It's 2-1. Our pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford. Villanueva, it's been a rough road for him of late. Chance to get back on course and give the Padres a couple of solid innings. Big leads, and the pitch is in there. Yeah, the runner Maldonado was halfway to third base, and then finally Schimpf came over to the bag and forced him back. And over at first base is Flores. 2-2 to Broxton with a pitcher spot next. A third double play would be nice. Or a strikeout. Took a good pitch, Broxton. He struck out both at bats. 2 away.
I've mentioned it many times. Carlos Villanueva does not throw hard, right? He throws a lot of stuff up there with movement. And I think right there, Broxton was maybe guessing something off speed. maybe the curveball or the changeup, and at times you will freeze the hitter with the fastball. It's exactly what we saw right there.
Nelson walked his first time. 4 hits and 36 at bats this year. 3 RBIs. A little high. One and one. Oh, I'm just smiling because in visiting with A.J. Preller, and the man is so full of information, and the word relentless certainly applies to his lifestyle. I mean, he is married to this game.
Absolutely, it's his life.
Outside, 2-1. And there's just no off season for a general manager. I mean, every day he's talking to his scouts and checking players within the Padre system, and then they got scouts checking all the players in the other systems, and then it's the Dominican League, and it's international players. Possible trades coming up in September. Foul back.
And that's why when you have a general manager like A.J. Preller, like all managers throughout Major League Baseball, you got to have a staff that works with you that is all in as well.
Well, the hard work done here in these 2 years, and it's not going to bear fruit immediately, but you hope that there's going to be some beautiful ripe pieces of fruit out down the end of the tree coming up. One hopper right at Rosales. He goes across for the out, and Nelson hit it hard for the out, and Villanueva comes in and saves the 4th. 1-0.
Braves this past Saturday, he wrote a very open and honest letter to the Players Tribune where he revealed that as a child growing up in Oklahoma, he was a huge Atlanta Braves fan, and that for Christmas one year, he received this jacket. He said he felt like the coolest kid on the block. He grew up watching guys like Chipper Jones and Glavine and David Justice, and he would pretend to be those guys in his living room. And he also thanked all of the fans and also the Padres organization for giving him such a big opportunity here in San Diego. And then he got really, really honest, and he said, you know, the Matt Kemp of these past few years hasn't been the real Matt Kemp, and that he hopes to get back to that original Matt Kemp who started playing baseball. He said he started to lose a little bit of the love for the game that he had, and he said, I want to go back to that guy who was the first one to show up at the park, the last one to leave, putting in the time in the cages. He said it is time to turn a page, start a brand new chapter of Matt Kemp in Atlanta. So he's very excited for the big opportunity that awaits him in the ATL. A really good read, guys. If you haven't read it, definitely check it out. Players Tribune by Matt Kemp.
Yeah, thank you, Julia. He was very open about his feelings and admitting the fact that in essence that he didn't give the Padres 100% while he was here, and that he intends to do that with the Atlanta Braves. He still makes his home here. He loves San Diego, and so there'll always be the fans in this area in his heart, baseball or not. And we wish him well.
Absolutely.
And for a man who didn't live up to his own standards, 23 home runs isn't bad.
Well, it's just too bad that has to come out and that he has to say that, because when you're a player and you sign up for it, it's not only in your contract, but it should be in your heart that you give it each and every day. And I know that's not going to be the case for each and individual player.
Jabari Blash, he goes down swinging. Was hit by a pitch the first time. For Nelson, that is his first strikeout tonight. Second strikeout. He did get shimped in the third inning. Derek Norris grounded to short, knocked in a run. The only run in the game back in the second.
When I read that or hear about reading that and the nuggets about that article, you know what I think about? I think about other players that I played with that didn't have nearly the talent, but all the blood and sweat and tears that they gave to try to get the most out of the game. That's what hurts me. And I know I did not walk a mile in Matt Kemp's moccasins, so I'm not going to judge. I'm just saying, based on what the article says, it's a shame that had to happen.
Whether that was written by him or written by someone that helped him.
Hey, Matt was great.
It was it was an admission that he didn't play up to his full potential here.
And don't get me wrong, Matt was great to me. Matt was great to us. He gave us time for interviews.
But the one area where I think he disappointed the clubhouse was he could have been the leader in that clubhouse and didn't elect to do that. And as we've said many times, it's not just vocal leadership, it's by example. Anyway, time moves on in this relentless game, and the new faces come in. It's opportunity for somebody else, and hopefully that will create a new star here in San Diego. That opening. Blash gets the first chance at it. 2-2 to Norris.
Whoa.
He does pitch inside. Full count.
Talked to Derek before the game today and cruised by his locker and said, hey, good to see you still in a Padre uniform. But then I got to thinking, being a catcher and just sweating like a farm animal in the middle of summer. He says he likes to go into spring training about 230, and he says right now he's about 220. So anywhere from 8 to 10, 12 pounds he will lose over the course of the season.
One odd walk. Third given up by Nelson. Brings up Rosales.
Because sometimes the weight that you maintain, it can help you stay strong during the course of a season, right? Rather than getting drained and losing.
Did you lose a lot of weight during the course of the season?
I gained a lot of weight.
Sitting on the pines will do that to you.
Yeah,
huh?
I was about 215, 220.
And
well, Mark Sweeney's giving me the up in the air with the finger. Keep going, keep going. 220, 225. Do I hear 230? 230, 235. Sold. Yeah, but I went into camp about 215. I missed my 36 waist. 34, 36 back in the day.
Is that what you were as a
Yeah.
rookie, 34 waist?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask. A ball, a strike to Rosales, who flied high to left field his first time. Just missed, hitting another home run. Takes away, 2-1.
Well, one thing for sure, Adam Rosales does not get cheated when he offers at a pitch. And you're right, Dick. He did just miss that last one. His first at bat.
Did he go? Yes. First base umpire Hudson says it's 2-2.
Yeah, he most definitely went.
And no argument from this corner.
I guess another breaking ball. Oh, he's going inside here.
Pops him up off first base toward the dugout of the Padres, Maldonado, and it lands on about the second step. You can't go down in there and catch it. You can reach in there, but once you step into the dugout, it's no play. So back to the batter's box, Rosales, back to his position, Maldonado. Do it again, 2-2. 1-0. The Padres lead it here in the bottom of the fourth inning. A double by Schimpf. A wild pitch and then a ground out by Norris getting the run in. Runner goes and the ball is hit foul. So we're in August, right? 1st of August.
Yep.
And our crack support system led by Connor Larson. Yeah, we've got, I mean, there's a cast of, what is it, 28 I think we employ here just to give us the research. And we wondered about August, you know, what is it about this month of August? And as you know, the Romans gave this month its name back in
Caesar Augustus?
8 BC. Yeah. Roman Emperor Augustus.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, see.
What's the next trivia question?
Down goes Rosales for the second out. And he ruled from 27 BC into AD 14 when he died. So a tribute to the Emperor Augustus, August. And before then, I know you're not going to know this, but this is something you just don't get anywhere now. I mean, the month had been known as Sextilis. Sextilis, as it was the 6th of 10 months. The old Roman calendar, as you know, only had 10 months because it began in March.
Right.
So from Sextilis to August, and there you have it, to Petco Park here on the 1st of August 2016.
I love getting little nuggets of information other than baseball. It makes us more well-rounded.
It's layers, you know, it layers the experience of following us on Fox Sports San Diego. I mean, you probably don't get that any other major league telecast.
No other telecast you're going to get that. The month of August. Welcome.
And wait till we get to September. A rare at bat for Villanueva, and he chops one toward third, and it kicks foul. So the wildness of the night, I don't know if that has anything to do with the new month, but 6 walks and 1 hit batsman from Cozart, and 3 walks and a hit batter from Nelson. So 10 extra base runners tonight in a game that has only 5 hits. Villanueva's had 1 at bat this season.
I'll take a guess right now why September is September. Septuplets is 7 kids, right?
Right. So the 7th month.
So the 7th month being September?
Right. On the old Roman.
No, that wouldn't be right. September is the 9th month.
No, but on the old calendar.
Oh,
Roman
the old calendar.
Yeah.
Is that right?
See, it all ties together here. And down goes Villanueva as Nelson strikes out the side in the 4th. On to the 5th inning. The Padres in front 1-0. Casino. Sign up for the new Padres Club card today. Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. And by Mercury Insurance. We're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today. We move to the top of the 5th inning, and Mark Sweeney joins us here in our Fox Sports San Diego luxurious broadcast booth.
I actually heard that I missed trivia.
Oh, yeah, we'll fill you in after the game. In fact, you and
Thanks,
we'll pass it along to you and Pomerantz so that you can massage the same information.
I like how you worked that massage in.
How's the old soup bone?
Feels actually pretty good. Yeah, really? I can at least shot put.
There you go. You're going to be involved in the
great minds think alike.
I've come to think of it, you did throw like that.
Yeah, I did. Honestly, they didn't have a scale to grade my arm from the outfield.
Villanueva goes to work in the top of the 5th inning with the Padres leading 1-0. It's the top of the order. VR, Jeanette, and Perez.
You know, Mark, I talked about Cosart, Jared Cosart, before the game, and he really had trouble glove side down away to the righties. Did you see the same thing?
Well, you said it in the pregame show, which I thought was really important. I was watching that, and we haven't got to see too much of Cosart.
Watch out. That ball screaming into the stands down the left field side.
But just watching him, he looked uncomfortable trying to work the edges.
Some beer went flying to try to elude that line drive into the crowd.
Watch out for your Cerveza.
So I was like, dude, really?
Sud City. He goes home from the ballpark. And you did what, honey, tonight? You went to where? 1-2 the count. Hey, buy the guy a free one.
He's from Boston anyway. Get him a beer.
He's going to make sure he drinks the rest before another line drive comes in there. Play it safe. 1-2 the count. Off speed, just misses inside. Good man to keep off the bases, VR, with his outstanding base stealing prowess. Line drive, one hopper to Schimpf. Eat him up, and he throws him out. Oh, he had to use that body, making sure it didn't get through the glove. One away. Well, the news from the Dodger camp is interesting. Yasiel Puig, according to our Fox Sports reporter Ken Rosenthal, he's walked away from the team. And they had told him apparently that they were going to either trade him or send him to the minors, and Puig not with the club, going to Colorado, and another report said that he walked out on the Dodgers.
Yeah, and I think the last report that I heard, and through Ken Rosenthal, is he did not even come to the field. So just being upset that those were the two options was a little strange for Yasiel Puig, and we've all known that it's been well documented that Yasiel Puig is one of those wild cards when it comes to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I wasn't surprised. I don't know what you felt, Mark, is his name being out there in the trade blocks.
And also with the trade that the Dodgers made, I know a lot of people were thinking, with Reddick and Hill coming over, they had an abundance of outfielders. I mean, Van Slyke, Peterson, Kendrick, Puig.
Yeah, and you're thinking about Andre Ethier possibly could get healthy. And
well, it's a shame. He's such immense talent, Puig. And you wonder about a young kid coming out of Cuba at a time when you made $30 a month playing baseball, and all of a sudden you're making millions on millions of dollars, and you get the kind of counsel and care to help you along the way. Line drive back through the middle off the bat of Jeanette, and his hitting streak is now 11 games in a row.
Well, Dick, and to that point, I think they definitely dot the I's and cross the T's when it comes down to the cultural differences that these players come into. Now, that's not saying that it's easy to come over here and be able to do that, but Yasiel Puig had a comfort level early in his career and was the wild horse that a lot of people talked about. But his game has gone from being very dangerous to being able to pitch to very easily, and a lot of strikeouts and dealing with off-field stuff that you never know where he's going to be every single night.
Hitting 260, 7 home runs, 34 RBIs. Yasiel Puig with the Dodgers.
That's shockingly low for what we saw when he first came up. Perez has struck out and walked, and he hits one deep to right field. That's got Carey. Back goes Blash, and it's out of here. Home run. Hernan Perez, a 2-run shot, and the Brewers take the lead 2-1. Number 8 this year for Perez. And that's haunted Villanueva in his last several outings, the home run ball.
Carlos Villanueva not overpowering the two-seamer. Look at that's up. Derek Norris has to go up. He wants to try to backdoor that two-seamer down and away. And Hernan Perez, one of the Brewers, other than Ryan Braun, it's got some pop. Maldonado's been swinging the bat well, and Perez just makes it on top of the padding for the home run. Apotaco.
Well, one out. Here's Chris Carter. He's flied out and grounded into a double play. Thing about Perez, he was not even on the 40-man roster in spring training, and he has developed into a top player, number 3 hitter. He was claimed off waivers from the Tigers in June last year. The Tigers had him up for 4 or 5 seasons and then released him. Milwaukee signs him, and they've got themselves a pretty good looking hitter. 381 the measurement on the home run. 2-2. The Battle of New York, the Yankees defeated the Mets tonight 6-5 as they have a intercity series going. Solarte gobbles that one up and throws across in time, and Carter is the second out of the 5th inning. Greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. And look again at some of the late trades made. Dodgers acquire Rich Hill and Josh Reddick from Oakland. Jay Bruce goes to the Mets. Carlos Beltran down to the Rangers. Boy, the Rangers really picked up some talent today, and Matt Moore traded to the Giants.
Well, I tell you this, the first two in Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Mets, those are strange to me. Obviously, the Dodgers needed pitching, so they go after Rich Hill. He has the blister on his hand and injury history. And as you touched on, Mark, the conversations about where you go if you're Dave Roberts and who do you play in the outfield, Josh Reddick and Rich Hill are free agents at the end of the year, so they're rentals. It's very strange to me that the Dodgers would go that direction.
Nieuwenhuis, a big swing and a miss. He is flied out and grounded out. How about the Rangers? They pick up Lucroy, a solid hitting all-star catcher. They get Beltran. He's going to help that lineup as a DH probably. And then they get Jeffers. He's a lights-out closer.
Yeah, and I think that's the moves that you want to do. And I think they were in on a Chris Sale, possibly even a Chris Archer, to get a starting pitcher, but they definitely helped themselves.
3-1 on the put on of Nieuwenhuis, but the damage done. A Jeanette single and Perez 2-run homer, and the Brewers are in front. On the 2-run home run by Hernan Perez. Back to the various trades made around the major leagues, and here are 3 outstanding closers. Chapman now with the Cubs. Melanson goes to the Nationals, and Andrew Miller from the Indians, or to the Indians from the Yankees. Of those 3, which do you think is the best deal for the new club?
You know what? I really like Mark Melanson. I know Chapman, you know, he's nasty, but you look at the last 3 years from Melanson, his numbers have been up there with like one of the best closers in baseball.
Well, they've said his velocity has dropped just a little bit, and I love the Andrew Miller. Obviously, Chapman's the most exciting one because he throws 105 miles an hour. I like the Miller because it's not only this year for the Cleveland Indians, it's the next 2 years at least. And I think you have 3 opportunities after this year. And the Cleveland Indians, with that pitching staff, not going anywhere. I'm disappointed, believe it or not, in the Washington Nationals. And the reason for that, they have plenty of prospects to go out there and get an Andrew Miller, get a Chapman, and they decided not to. Nothing against Mark Melanson, because I think that's a nice move. But I think that's a second-tier guy compared to Chapman and Miller, in my opinion.
Jankowski leading off the Padre 5th inning. He has a couple of infield hits tonight. 2 of the 4 collected by the Padres against Jimmy Nelson.
I think the Giants pulled off a nice little trade also with Will Smith, the lefty, and Matt Moore from Tampa.
It's going to be pretty interesting to see what the Giants do with the back of their rotation. Former Padre Jake Peavy. Jankowski walks.
Leadoff walk. He's been on base all 3 times tonight. That's 4 free tickets from Nelson.
Jake Peavy, Matt Cain have been somewhat disappointing, mostly throughout the year. Cain has gone through injuries. But you're right, Mark, having Moore in the fold, that's a nice addition, not only for this year, but next as well.
Well, year after year, the Giants just seem to come out and push the right button.
Yeah, they do.
They currently lead the Dodgers by 2 games in the West. Both teams idle tonight. Amarista safe on a fielder's choice and bounced into a 6-3 double play the last time. There's a look at the National League West on August 1st. Colorado just 1 game under 500. Padres 2 ahead of Arizona. I'd have to think that Arizona's the biggest disappointment in the National League. Runner goes, and the throw from his knees, Maldonado, and he doesn't get it. Jankowski, steal number 19 for Travis. And Pat Murphy wants to make sure as he looks at or calls through to the video department. Maldonado made a heck of a throw from there.
What in the Benito Santiago is going on? I mean, he had to reach across his body, and then the throw, clearly Jankowski gets to the bag before the tag is applied.
Pinnacle on the park angle, and he's safe there too.
We saw VR actually reach for that ball. Most of those middle infielders will let that ball travel just a little bit longer and drop it straight on the bag.
So a chance for the Padres, giving up the 1-0 lead in the top half of the inning. 2-1 Milwaukee, a chance to come right back. Shot up the middle and a base hit to right center. That'll get Jankowski home, and Amarista's going to try for 2. No, he puts on the brakes and heads back to first. He ties it at 2. A solid single to right center off the bat of Amarista, who's been the hottest hitter these last 4 games in the Padre lineup.
Well, 1-0, you're sitting dead red. He gets a 2-seamer middle. And again, Amarista, the last 4 games, has been on fire, using the middle of the field. And you watch his short, compact swing. Very comfortable.
7 for 12 in 4 games.
And short to the baseball, which is very important for Amarista. Work in the middle. He's got the sweet shoes to go along with it.
Nice comeback after the 2-run homer given up by Villanueva to Perez to give Milwaukee a short-lived 2-1 lead. Myers walked twice. He leads the team in walks on the season with 50, and it's quite apparent that coming through August and September, he's going to continue to get a lot of free passes. They're not going to give him much to hit until the Padres can fortify those hitting behind him. That ball hit to left center field, and there's no one there. all the way to the wall, and Karams off the wall flush, and Amarista comes up gimpy as he goes to third and holding the back of his leg as Myers into second with a double. A ringing double off the left center field wall.
Will Myers leans on this pitch. I mean, this ball is hit on the line so hard. It's a hanging slider. That line drive, you think it's going to maybe hit the grass. That ball off the bat of Will Myers short hop the wall in left center field. Look at this ball short hop the wall. Oh, it's off the wall. I stand corrected. My goodness, off the wall.
A laser.
Wow.
But here's Amarista as he rounds second. And right here, he starts to slow down and reaches back at that left hamstring. So he'll have to come out of the game.
That's too bad because Amarista was they were 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position until Amarista's RBI single that knocked in Jankowski.
Yeah, they've been 0 for 5 tonight and 1 for the last 27 until that RBI single, and we'll just see how serious this is. Those hammies can haunt you for a long time. How long did it take for you to recover from yours, Mark? The spring training frolics of yours?
I tell you what, well, it's a good month. I mean, for me, it took me a couple of months to where I felt comfortable. I mean, he's in much better shape than I will ever think about being in.
But nevertheless, that's a
tough one.
So Bethancourt, the all-purpose catcher, utility, pitcher, outfielder, he'll go into the game and apparently will play left field.
That's one of the hardest hit balls I think I've seen in a long time.
It was.
Well, Myers double chased Amarista over to third. Might even have been able to score had he not come up gimpy. Here's that hit again.
Just the sound off the bat. And as you said, Mark, just rifling off that left center wall. I think Will Myers needs a couple of those swings just to get in the rhythm of it. Good to see him go on a little bit of run. That'd be nice for this Padre offense.
Still no one out here in the 5th inning. They've tied the score of the Padres, and here's Solarte with runners at second and third. And takes it outside and low. The third baseman, Perez, about bag high off the line. The rest of the infielders are back, so a ground ball will get the go-ahead score in. Up the middle, base hit. Bethancourt scores, and here's Myers right behind him, and the Padres lead it 4-2. Welcome back, Jan Solarte. 41st and 42nd runs batted in of the year.
Oh, I smell a Solarte parte. That was one of the keys of the game. And did you notice? You notice Nelson on the mound? He kind of wanted to grab at that, but I think he anticipated his defense being behind him there. Not the case. 2-run score. And a guy who brings a lot of energy. Oh, yeah. He's pointing to his teammates. There's more where that came from.
So in the inning, leadoff walk to Jankowski, stole second. Amarista brought him home with a base hit to right center to tie it. Then Myers doubled off the left field wall, and Solarte brings in both the pinch runner for Amarista, Bethancourt, and Myers with that sharp single back through the middle. They're going to stay with Nelson as Ryan Schimpf comes up.
Back-to-back hits with runners in scoring position. That's a good sign. Have those things turned around. Clutch hitting by the Padres.
And Solarte has been gone for a week, dealing with some health issues in his family. Comes back a-roaring with a 2-for-3 night and a couple of RBIs. Schimpf, a double back in the second, scored the first Padre run. Came around on a wild pitch and a ground out off the bat of Norris. Two and 0. 85 pitches now for Nelson. Well, his last outing he had trouble. at Arizona could not complete the 5th inning and gave up 8 runs on 8 hits. Good cut by Schimpf.
Yeah, that's where he likes it.
Mark, I noticed, I said this earlier, but recently the pitchers have been pounding Schimpf in.
And that's an adjustment he's going to have to make too. Not necessarily looking in there, but when you're in a good position hitting, you react to the ball in. You don't try to pull that, because when you try to pull, you'll get those foul balls down the line.
And you smother a lot of pitches too,
exactly.
in there, don't you? Inside again, 3-1. Do you ever, when it becomes so obvious that they're going to pitch you tight, just try to inch your way back off the plate a little bit, or does that just mess you up all the more?
That's all preference, and it's a good question too, Dick, because a lot of guys would move in the box. I wanted to stay in the same spot because I wanted to go to my strength rather than their strength.
Line drive, fair ball into the right field corner. Solarte around second to third. He's going to pull up at third. Now they're waving him in. Here comes the relay to the plate. He slides. He's safe. And Schimpf winds up at third. The Padres lead 5-2.
Let's take a look at how Schimpf is pitched, and you see that changeup on the outside part, then the backup slider, 2-0. Now you're starting to look for a pitch. That's the one he wanted to miss at the beginning, and then he gets that mistake again down the line, and then your focus is on Solarte. What is going to happen with him? Credit Glenn Hoffman, the third base coach, for winding him up, and a nice slide by Solarte right before the tag.
As he came around third, we're concerned that he might pull something. He's given it all he has, and he nosedives under the tag to make it a 5-2 game. So
right.
Nelson not able to get an out here in the 5th inning.
Nice job by Glenn Hoffman. As you can see, one of the best in the game. Again, Schimpf with the nice hitting.
Now the Padres, a big 5th inning. Four consecutive hits. RBI single Amarista, a double by Myers, a 2-run single from Solarte, and an RBI triple from Ryan Schimpf. And here's Glenn Hoffman. He waves in Solarte, and his judgment was right on because it was that close, but running out of gas, Solarte had enough to squeeze that left hand on the point of the plate for the run.
You always get scared when you see that headfirst slide going into home plate with those shin pads of the catcher.
So Blash up there with a runner at third and no one out, as Nelson again rocked in the 5th inning. The new pitcher is Boyer. Blaine Boyer, and Lowe 2-0.
Former Padre, 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, curveball for Blaine Boyer. He's about 88 to mid-90s on the fastball. His 39th game. Not a strikeout pitcher. A lot of balls in play, so he's got to hit his spots.
It's not true that Cashner, when he shaved his beard in Miami, sent it to Boyer.
A good call.
Did that all on his own. Man, to be that follicle rich.
Very jealous.
Blash has been hit by a pitch and struck out tonight. And with the Padres, a couple of years ago, 32 games, 40 innings, decent ERA, and hitters with batting only .228 against Boyer. Chop toward third. Runner's going to hold. Throw to first, and Blash is out by a stride. Boyer charging toward the third baseline to make the play. Not an easy one. That'll bring up Derek Norris. Knocked in a run with a ground out and walked the last time. Infield will remain in at the edge of the grass. They use the shift on Norris. So the hole's to the right side. .92 on the fastball. Inside. You just wonder, you wish it, you know, when we had AJ Preller here, you just wish, you know, he can't reveal all the inside information, but wouldn't you just love to know how close certain trades came to being made?
Oh, yeah.
For example, you know, Norris, I wonder how close it was for him to be traded.
Well, I think Jonathan Lucroy's situation held up Derek Norris in possible trade thoughts.
When he declined the Cleveland deal?
Yeah, because it opens up. And obviously, Jonathan Lucroy is that star player that everyone was looking for, so they're waiting on that.
So if he goes to Cleveland, maybe Texas finds Norris the answer. Or maybe in the long run, the best thing that sometimes can happen is you don't trade.
Yeah, that's a good point.
5-2 now. The Padres leading here in the fifth. Chance for more with one out man at third. Low. After Norris, it's Andy Rosales. Adam Rosales. Got a 3-1 pitch. Clipped it back foul.
Yeah, a little bit of two-seam movement. Getting in on Derek just a little bit. Couldn't get on top of it.
It's a nice turnout on this Monday night here at Petco Park. Two teams not in the pennant race, but providing interesting action and fans out enjoying a good night at Petco Park. Another foul. Padres 7-10 since the All-Star break. And the Brewers playing their best ball coming into San Diego, winning 4 in a row. Sweet Pittsburgh Pirates. That's a pretty good series for you. Again, the full count. Too low. And the inning continues for the Padres. First and third with one out to Rosales, who's flied out and struck out.
A good sign. Alex Dickerson comes out on the on-deck circle.
Well, that is a good sign. Dickerson injured on Friday night in that collision out on the left field warning track.
Well, I really like his swing for a big kid. He's short and quick to the ball. Ball jumps off his bat.
Well, the balls and the performance that he put on in Toronto, I think opened a lot of people's eyes. Actually probably surprised people in the organization of how far he hit it and how hard he hits the baseball, to your point, Mark.
You know, you saw him take that practice swing, and manager Andy Green says he can't remember anyone. When you're taking a practice swing, you can hear the sound of that swing.
There's not many of us that had it.
Many of us, you and Dickerson.
You know I'm kidding about that. Oh, man. I had to turn the bat around.
That's the equivalent, that swing and miss, and you hear the sound of a pitcher. You can hear that ball sing on its way to home plate.
I had one of those sound machines in my back pocket.
Pulled foul past third, and it's 2 strikes on Rosales. 3 runs home in the 4 runs home in this inning to make it a 5-2 Padre lead after the 2-run homer in the top half of the inning by Perez gave the Brewers a short-lived 2-1 advantage. A couple of walks and 4 hits for the Padres here in the 5th to create the nice crooked number up there on the big board. Fly ball to right. Tag, the catch, and here he comes. And he is safe. Schimpf hustles home, and it's a 5-run inning, and the Padres take a 6-2 lead. Credit Rosales with his 23rd RBI on the sac fly.
Now just good hitting. And you can see Ryan Schimpf. Now watch this slide in. A lot of guys will slide in. That front foot will go over the plate. He puts it right down on that front edge. Very nice job by Ryan Schimpf, because a lot of them will get that right leg underneath and it'll go over that plate. And that's where guys during the replay get called out a lot of times.
You know what scares me about that? I think of Robin Ventura sliding into home plate and snapping his ankle. You know, that's a good point, because with replay now, Mark, you're right. In the old, should I say old days?
Sure.
Now that we've got challenges.
Yeah.
But you're right. Your foot just kind of goes over the plate there. They didn't care if you touched it.
You never worried about it.
So with the run brought home on the sac fly, Villanueva stays in the game and will hit for himself. Dickerson back on the bench. Norris at first, 2 out. Villanueva did hit in the 4th inning, struck out. All the runs charged to Jimmy Nelson.
With a short bench from Andy Green, he pulls back Dickerson because of that 4-run lead.
And strike 3, but the Padres hit around. All 9 men come to plate in the 5th inning, and 5 of them come in to score, and San Diego now enjoys a 6-2 lead over the Brewers. Geico on this date, August 1st, 1972. It was Nate Colbert tying one Major League record with 5 home runs and setting another with 13 RBIs as the Padres took a doubleheader from the Braves, 9-0 and 11-7. Interesting, and most of you know the story about Colbert. When he was 8 years of age, back in 1954, he went to a game in St. Louis at Sportsman's Park, home of the Cardinals, and saw Stan Musial hit 5 home runs in a doubleheader, and then he repeats that incredible feat, 5 in a doubleheader, on this date in 1972.
That's a great story.
Well, variations of the twist as we go to the 6th inning. And the Padre fans enjoying a 6-2 lead. So Nelson charged with all 6 runs in 4+ innings, 8 hits, 4 walks, a hit batsman. And he struck out 4. Villanueva back to work here in the top of the 6th inning. Maldonado leads it off. He has a single and was hit by a pitch. So he'll get a lot of work now that Lucroy is playing for the Rangers. Well, Mark Grant is always high on fashion, as you know, Mark Sweeney, and whenever he says when I really like this look, or I think, then you got to listen to him because he's kind of the GQ guy, and he likes that logo, that Milwaukee logo. You've always and look what's happened. They're using it more and more again.
I think it's probably, in my opinion,
sliced to right field, fair or foul, it's a foul ball.
I think that's one of the most original, most cool looking logos in Major League Baseball. I understand it was a college kid
that won the contest.
That won a contest.
So you can see the M at the top, the baseball glove, the fingers, the 3 fingers form the M, and then you go to the thumb part and it comes around, and there's the B for Brewers.
Love it. Now, when you see that logo, guys, who do you think of?
Robin Yount.
Yeah, exactly. Number 19.
Yeah, I had a chance to ride from Albany Airport to Cooperstown with Robin and his lovely wife and talk baseball. Taft High School in the San Fernando Valley.
Man, could he play the game, and obviously multiple positions.
I think they should go back to that color scheme too on the road. I love the powder blues.
Oh, call him. Email him. Send him a text.
I will.
If they only knew your reputation. I mean,
don't they know you're going to be commissioner?
You're gonna be my right-hand man.
He's left-handed.
That's fine.
He's got a point.
Yeah.
2 strikes on Maldonado, and that pitch just misses. Yeah, the dreaded wave has made its appearance.
Here we go. Oh, boy.
Ooh, right back. Villanueva uses his entire body and throws out Maldonado. Glove and body. We'll see just where that one got him. That was a smash back through the box. Thumbs up. Yeah, looks like he did get the leather on it, maybe on the wrist.
Good recovery, good second effort.
Yeah, good scrambled and fires a strike to Myers in time. So 1 out to Ramon Flores. He's grounded into a double play and walked. Slow spinner in there for a strike, 1-1. Well, tomorrow night, 6:30 our airtime here on Fox Sports San Diego for Luis Perdomo. Improving with every outing. He's now 5-4. Zach Daniels will be the opposing pitcher in Milwaukee. He's won 8, lost 4 on Taco Tuesday. That always gets Mark Sweeney's blood a-boiling.
You know what time it is.
I think we should have Margarita Mondays and then Taco Tuesdays.
Call him. Email him.
Social sparklers.
Text him.
Waffle Wednesdays.
Oh. Hey, I thought watermelon would work.
What?
Oh, it's perfect time.
Sets it up for the old Cholula flamethrower.
Oh, Taco Tuesday. You start talking about it. That is mild sauce on your taco.
2-2. High foul fly off to the right. Watch out. Coming down hot. Fans down the right field corner are troublemakers. They're the ones starting this wave thing.
Can't believe they do that.
I know. Hey, pretty good pitch.
Yes, just on the edge. Doesn't get the call. Full count.
Tried to backdoor that slider.
See if he goes to that two-seamer going away from him here.
Got him. Changeup. 2 away here in the 6th. First strikeout for Villanueva.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
See? You want to try it? Do you want to try it?
No, we don't want to do it. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
Is that the first time for you?
Bravo.
Whew, that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of no breathing.
Man.
But he does it so, easily.
Is that the first time you've done that?
Yeah.
Oh, he's read it.
With no copy?
No copy.
Really? I'm impressed. Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy. Should we hug?
So,
no, let's not.
Why don't you just call the rest of the inning? I mean, just do that.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Keon Broxton struck out both at bats.
Can't believe you guys pressured me into doing that.
That was just kind of not rehearsed, and I'm kind of stunned by how well he did it, aren't you?
Thank you.
I'm not, because he's a smart man.
Right field, long run for Blash, and it's falling foul.
I mean, you don't go to University of Maine and utilize that degree.
Listen, you can stay inside because it's cold, so what do? You study.
Save it.
It's better than going out there with those black bears.
Oh.
Did they serve lobster at the University of Maine dormitory halls?
Oh, yeah. Lobster rolls? You've had one of those before.
Oh,
lobster bisque.
Oh. That's in the top 5, lobster roll.
Do you like lobster?
You think? What don't I like? Just look at me.
Do you like peanut butter and jelly?
Oh.
High fly ball center field. Jankowski turns. Finds it. Catches it. Inning over. For the first time tonight, a 1-2-3 frame. Hernan Perez in the 5th inning gave Milwaukee a 2-1 lead, but the Padres came back in the bottom half of the 5th inning and rolled a big 5. RBIs from Solarte and Schimpf. And here's the base hit by Solarte to give the Padres 2 more runs. Schimpf then would triple in another. But in the course of the inning, Amarista came up lame. We're running out base hit from first to third. There's a great slide by Solarte to add the 5th run of the inning and a 6-2 lead. Our Harrah's game summary brings up Michael Blazek out of the bullpen for the bottom of the 6th inning for Milwaukee. Native of Las Vegas. Jake Elmore takes over in left field for Flores in the double switch. Bunted foul ball called by plate umpire Hoy. Jankowski has a bunt single, an infield hit. He walked and scored. He started things in the 5th inning. This is the 3rd time he's led off an inning tonight.
Well, he's going to have to show that in his game, and he has been working very hard on that before the games, working on his bunting. He's got to implement this, especially against left-handed pitching, in my opinion. Maldonado gets out of there quickly and pounces on that. But Jankowski has shown his speed, and it's a difference maker.
And you know, even if he doesn't do that, I mean, look where the 3rd baseman is playing. Cuts down the range. Just take a look at the numbers from Blazek. Right, Mark?
Yeah. Opens up holes. You see the Perez come in on 3rd base, and that helped him on his 2nd single.
A ball, 2 strikes the count. Up the middle, softly hit, and it squeaks through. Jeanette got a glove on it, but Jankowski another hit. He's 3 for 3 with a walk tonight. Let's go down to Julie Alexandria. What do you have for us, Julie?
Hey guys, well, I have an update for you on Little Ninja, Alexi Amarista, who left tonight's game with a left hamstring strain for the Padres clubhouse. That's a left hamstring strain as he was rounding 2nd base for Alexi Amarista.
All right, thank you. And you have to wait on those things. They ice him down, work on it tonight, and hopefully better tomorrow. But that can send you on a 15-day DL trip. Jake Elmore in left field. He'll be batting 9th in the order. As Bethancourt hits for the first time, came in for Amarista, and he pulled that hamstring running 1st to 3rd. Cubs shut out Miami tonight 5-0. Washington has a huge lead over Arizona. We started to get into that. At the start of the season, you really felt Arizona was a legitimate contender here in the West. And they got some serious injuries early on, and that really hurt them deeply.
The one thing was A.J. Pollock right out of the chute, right? Well, I was right there with you. I know the pundits out there had Arizona possibly towards the top, especially with the acquisition of Zach Greinke.
Well, the one thing I questioned, and it has come into a major problem for the Arizona Diamondbacks, is Shelby Miller. What they gave up for him from Atlanta. Had an awful 2nd half, and they thought he was going to be a difference maker, and he's turned out to be one of those problems for Arizona Diamondbacks moving forward because of how much they gave up to get Shelby Miller.
Yeah, they gave up their #1 pick, didn't they? The infielder
Dansby Swanson. Yeah.
A ball and a strike to Bethancourt. Yeah, it'd be exciting as you see Dominguez tuning up for the Padres. They'll look into a crystal ball and all the moves made by each team, and of course the Padres look in all the acquisitions, young players. And 3 years from now, where will they be? How many will make it to the big time? Keeping an eye on Jankowski, who has stolen his 19th base tonight, so he and Myers are tied in that department with 19.
I think the forecast, and for baseball fans and Padre fans out there, the free agent class in 2018 is supposed to be one of the best around. Obviously, those things change with different signings and teams locking up their own players.
Not this coming winter, but the following winter.
The following winter. Supposed to be the best free agent class in a long time. Loaded with players like Bryce Harper. There's some opt-outs in David Price's contract. You never know what's going to happen with that free agent class.
Well, they got him this time. They kept after Jankowski and finally tagged by Carter. Well, there's the diligence of the pitcher. He just kept going over there, and finally Jankowski figured he can't possibly go throw over here again. He did.
Just getting a little too froggy there. You know what? And when a guy has speed like Jankowski, I've always liked the fact that you sprint to second base and you put the force on the guy throwing the baseball to make that perfect throw. Stay in the lane too, so you know he has to throw over you. That's a good way.
I
to go
agree,
about it, right?
and especially right-handed first basemen, because they have to create a lane to throw to second base.
So put the pressure on the first baseman.
So on the positive side, Jankowski tonight with 3 hits, all basically infield hits, and that's his career high in a game. Well, 1 out, 1 and 2 to Bethancourt.
What?
Down low.
Well, having nights like this for Travis Jankowski, even after getting picked off, will give him confidence, and especially on the base pass, laying bunts down. And confidence goes a long way, especially the period that the San Diego Padres are in right now. Not necessarily individually, but collectively you have to get there to win ball games. But for Travis Jankowski being a leadoff hitter, using his speed, showing that can change games is very important for him.
What happens when John Jay comes off the DL? He's got the cast off. That's in there for strike 3. 2 away now in the Padres 6th inning.
Well, as you take a look at John Jay, and I would say he's going to probably have to move around, and you wonder if he's in their plans moving forward. But if he isn't, he's been moving around in St. Louis, where he's played left field, played center field. Obviously, we've seen him all in center field here.
What's his contract status? Isn't he? He's a free agent, isn't he, at the end of this year?
Yep.
2 away to Will Myers. Chops that foul. And our rooftop shot is brought to you by Pinnacle on the Park. Look down into the beautiful confines of Petco Park in downtown San Diego. Could be a swinging bunt single. Throw to first base, not in time. So 2 walks, a double, and an infield single for Myers tonight. Swinging bunt single. Padres' 10th hit of the night.
Well, one of the luxuries for being a big hitter like Will Myers, sure he's kind of in that funk right now, but you respect that power as a third baseman playing back a little bit. You get those toppers trying to hook that ball. He'll take that hit.
Brings up Jan Solarte, and it's time now for In the Driver's Seat, brought to you by Kia. Is it Solarte in the driver's seat? Yes, it is. 2 for 3 tonight as he returns after a week's absence. Single, a double, a couple of RBIs, continuing a hitting streak at 7 games. Interesting, the 10 hits for the Padres tonight collected by the first 5 men in the batting order. The bottom 4, nothing there, but Jankowski with 3, Amarista with 1, Myers with a couple, Solarte with 2, and Schimpf with 2. With a 2 for 3 tonight, the current batting average for Solarte at .295.
Okay, what's worse, the wave or this?
Both.
You got to pick one.
Yeah, I think actually the light thing is more disturbing. I mean, at least the wave, they're making some noise and a ruckus. I don't know what this does other than entertain yourself, but that's what a wave is too. So. Pay a good price for a seat, and I guess you do what you want to do. Out of play. Yeah, I'm really enjoying getting cranky. I really am. I mean, I guess when you live as long as I've been privileged to live, then your maturity allows you to not like some things, You don't have to like everything. I don't have to like those stupid lights being on. Huh?
No, I'd get mad.
And the wave is so ridiculous that, well, when I write my book, what are you laughing about? Foul back.
I don't even understand why he's laughing at you.
No.
That would bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me. I don't get mad at laughter. The laughter is something that,
it's the best medicine.
It is.
I hope when I say goodbye, I have a nice little smile on my face.
You got a great smile.
I've had a great life.
Yes, you have.
And I got I'm looking for about 25 more years. Yeah. Couple of transplants here and there. Yeah. Going to be great. Going to come back as an opera singer.
Oh.
High fly ball, center field. Directly at Broxton. And that'll do it for the Padres in a long 6th inning. Hey, don't leave us now. Wait a minute. Where
bring it in.
I'm not hugging. I'm not hugging you guys.
Bring it in.
You hug.
Don't be mad.
Hug yourself.
Don't be mad.
It's a 3-way or no way.
You're upsetting.
3-way or no way.
Okay. Our time is for the Bill Howe plays of the game, and it's the support defensively behind starting pitcher Jared Cozart. A couple of double plays turned by the Padres in the 2nd and 3rd inning, bailing out Cozart, who walked 6 and hit 1 batter, and was able to escape after 3 1/3 without allowing a run. Villanueva gives up 2 runs in his 2 2/3 as we go to the 7th inning, and Jose Dominguez in the pitch.
Yeah, it is amazing with 6 walks that Jared Cozart issued. He did strike out 3, that the score was 1-0 when he left, and the Padres started scoring some runs. So enter Jose Dominguez. Another live arm out of that Padre bullpen. He pitched yesterday. 1 inning, 2 hits for the young right-hander.
He was in there Friday night as well. Worked an inning, a 1-2-3 inning. Jake Elmore, who entered the game in the double switch in the last inning, hitting 9th and takes a strike. Then it'll be Villar and Jeanette in the top of the 7th. Boy, Washington leading Arizona over in Phoenix 14-1 tonight.
Ouch.
Things have really gone sour with the D-backs.
Hey, you know what I like when I look at Carlos Villanueva? He went 2 2/3. Sure, he gave up 2 runs, but you know what though? He had some breathing room, some wiggle room to work with. You give up a couple runs and you still have a 4-run lead.
And it's probably his game to win now, because he logged a 2 2/3 and the Padres took the lead.
This is the old school yellow road hat, yellow panel. Where they used to wear the white panel at home and the yellow on the road for the Brewers.
.97 on that heater. Well outside. Elmore claimed off waivers last year. Came up to the big leagues with Arizona in 2012, then to Houston in 13, Cincinnati briefly in 14, and Tampa Bay for 141 at bats last year.
Oh, there's a magical moment right there, going home with a big league baseball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball shallow and right. Out goes Schimpf. Nice, watch out. Flash coming in and makes the catch. Boy, Schimpf lucky to duck out of the way just in time. That's a big locomotive coming on down the track.
You're absolutely right, Professor. That is a big mismatch. I really thought Ryan was going to get to this ball, but then all of a sudden, the last second, Jabari squeezes it for the out. And luckily, nobody gets hurt.
Top of the order, Jonathan Villar is walked, struck out, and grounded sharply to second base. Pretty good pitch at 97, just missing that corner. Not getting the borderline call. It's 2-0. 24,009 is the announced attendance. Lays in a strike. That one wasn't as good as the other two.
Yeah. This place has gotten loud tonight when the Padres have sent some runners home. And some extra base hits.
That's a nice turnout on a Monday night. Good to have a lot of fans from out of state enjoying baseball action at Petco. Now they're here for some summer holiday. Many are here from Arizona, New Mexico. They come out for the Del Mar race season, and then a doubleheader, go to the races, although no races on Monday or Tuesday out at the beautiful Del Mar track. So come on and see a ball game. And a walk to VR. There's been plenty of those tonight.
MLB.TV Premium. It's the #1 live streaming sports service. It delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Yeah, some big leaguers there.
Oh, yeah.
Different rooting interests. A Brewer fan, a Cardinal fan, a Padre fan. Jeanette singled his last time. He walked his first 2 at bats.
You know, I look at those kids wearing the jerseys and the hats. Professor, I think you'd have to agree with me. The best super fan this year that we've seen up to this point was that guy, the Ichiro guy.
Yeah.
Dressed up as Ichiro, full uni.
Yeah.
Going through his acts. And his batting stance.
You're right. Yeah. I wonder how Ichiro did tonight. Miami was shut out 5-0. He's still going into the game tonight 2 hits shy of 3,000. And apparently Didn't pick up a hit tonight. Kansas City shut out Tampa Bay 3-0. Minnesota beat Cleveland 12-5. Runner goes. Throw by Norris, not in time. He stole that one off Dominguez. He was halfway to second before the ball was out of his hands. So VR's 39th steal to lead the National League.
Got a pretty good jump, an abbreviated slide step, not really a slide step, not really the big kick.
So in a 6-2 game, Padres in front by 4. VR puts himself in scoring position for Jeanette with 1 out and 1-1 the count. High pop up off first. Myers has a play. Two away to Hernan Perez, who homered his last time. And our telecast tonight brought to you in brilliant HD by Sony. That big scoreboard, the largest in the National League, and the best of the bunch. All the information provided, that whole crew that operate the information on the scoreboard, they're outstanding. It's like a motion picture every night here at Petco.
Oh, they do a great job. Have you ever been to Mission Control here? Over there? Have you gone down there?
It's on. Okay, the cast. It's quite a cast.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen by accident. It's all the production elements that they do in between. Let's go back to Perez. Goes the opposite way against Villanueva, just far enough over that right field wall into the home run deck. T-Mobile home run deck for the 2 Milwaukee runs. That's in there, 1-1. Since the All-Star break, Perez has been a hot hitter, 375 average, 4 home runs. There's the gang, young talent there in the Mission Control. That's just one level of them. There's another couple of decks up there.
Oh, there's Eric Meyer and Alex Miniak.
'91 on that delivery. It's 2-1. A walk and a steal has VR at second base with 2 outs here in the 7th. High foul fly off to the right. So tomorrow night, Perdomo 5-4 against Zach Davies, 8-4 on Taco Tuesday. Then Wednesday, a 12:40 start, a noon telecast here on Fox Sports San Diego. It'll be Edwin Jackson against Junior Guerrera. Guerrera's 7-2 with a brilliant 2.70 ERA. Way back Wednesday. Another foul.
You gonna wear your brown on way back Wednesday, Professor?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it. That's it's 2 days away.
Right.
Don't want to plan too early.
I think I'll wear my brown. You know what? I know there's a lot of people split on that All-Star BP jersey. I'm a big fan. I really like it.
Boy, they sold like hotcakes, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they apparently set all kinds of merchandise records. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Dominguez on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. That's it for the 7th for Milwaukee. It's 6-2. Cleveland. Rookie Max Kepler of the Twins goes 4 for 6 and 3 home runs for the rookie as the Minnesota Twins knock off the Cleveland Indians today, 12-5. That pleases Tiger fans because Detroit, 6 games in a row, is now only 4 games off the pace of the Cleveland Indians. And the wild card picture has Boston and Toronto now tied for the top spots, and the Tigers on a game and a half. Houston's there. Oh, that's going to be interesting right down to the final games of the year. Ryan Shimp's had a good night, a double and a triple. He continues to be an extra base monster for the Padres. He just throws those singles away. Not many of those. Most everything he hits is for a double, triple home run. A ball, 2 strikes. Blazek, the pitcher for Milwaukee, into his second inning. Gave up a couple of infield hits in the last frame. Picked off Jankowski. So the Padres unable to pad their 6-2 lead. Way out of play. That's top tier. And it's going to carry him out to all the way downstairs. Oh, all the action from the top 5 hitters in the lineup. Bethancourt's 0-1, but Amarista had a base hit in that number 2 slot before he came up with a hamstring pull.
It'll be interesting to see the last 2 months of the season how the balance of this lineup works out for San Diego. We talked about Alex Dickerson, Jabari Blash. We talked about all the trades for Andy Green. So giving some kids some chances that he feels they deserve those chances, like a Jabari Blash, Alex Dickerson. Some pop, left-handed and right-handed. And this kid at the plate has shown pop.
Well, you talk about the opportunity, and the injury to Corey Spangenberg allowed Shimp to come up. Hardly anyone knew much about this 28-year-old who had languished in the minor leagues for his entire career. He comes up here and shows why he collected 15 home runs early at El Paso. Spangenberg is continuing his treatment of that quad injury, and it just seems like every time he thinks he's back 100%, he re-injures himself.
See, trying to pound him in. Look at that Fox Tracks.
Another high pop up off third, a long run with a shift on, and unable to get there as the shortstop. That might be Perez, the third baseman, who's only the only infielder on that left side. So Boston edges Seattle tonight 2-1. The Red Sox are only a game behind Baltimore. Toronto only a half game behind the Orioles. That's the tightest of all the 6 division races, the American League East. Breaking ball misses, ball 4, and Shimp is aboard again. Lead-off walk. And it's time now for our San Diego fan of the game.
Oh, yeah, get it all over the place. Dive into that ice cream helmet.
He's not going to miss a drop. If it's still on his hands, you're going to lick them clean. That's what a ball player does.
Oh, yeah. Go,
oh, man.
Go get it, Engelberg. What are you looking at? He's saying.
Blash fouls it back. What's your favorite flavor?
You know what? I'm a chocolate guy. But if I'm going specialty, I'm going mint chocolate chip.
Ooh, yeah, I like some nuts. I like a pecan, butter pecan, or a chocolate peanut butter with nuts in it. Ooh. Flash outside. Did you have in your neighborhood, you know, we of course out on the farm, you didn't have any of the guys that played the music in their ice cream trucks that come around the neighborhood. Obviously, you don't get in the farm, but during World War II, we lived in Venice, California, and they had that creamsicle truck had come through there and ring the bells.
We had that in our neighborhood,
I mean, you waited all day as a kid in the summer, didn't you?
You heard the music playing or ringing the bell, and you'd run to your dad's dresser drawer, and you'd rat hole like a quarter or something. And if you were really lucky, you'd find a quarter and a dime to get a bomb pop.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Rather than just a plain fudgesicle. Or like a...
I like that creamsicle with the orange on the outside, the vanilla on the inside.
What is
this kid isn't going to miss a drop. He's going to go home and lick his T-shirt. He's going to lick that clean before the night's out. Look at this nice drink. Well, that's it. Don't miss it.
His wrist.
Popped up high in the air, middle of the diamond. Jeanette at second base for the first out here in the 7th inning. We're in the 7th inning, and this game is past 3 hours already. When does the bonus check comes in after? What? Isn't there some?
What's the union?
The wages. I think they're trying to raise. The wages for all of us.
3 hours before the 7th inning, you should get a little extra.
I think that'd be a good idea. But hey, it isn't work. We're having
baseball.
fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking ball. Hoping the Padres add on. I'd like to see Derek Norris lay into one.
He's knocked in a run with a ground out and walked the last 2 times. It's been a wild night in that regard. Walks and hit batsmen. Something like 13 men have reached base without having to hit their way on tonight. There's a pitch all the way to the screen. That'll push Schimpf to second base. Let's see how they scored. Wild pitch or pass ball. Certainly wild enough.
It looked like Maldonado had to reach across a little bit. It did hit his glove. Kind of had a rough night back there tonight. You can see he's upset with himself. 2-seamer away. It's yanked.
Wild pitch is the scoring. So a chance to add to the 6-2 lead here in the 7th.
Well, those are collector items now. Jonathan Lucroy jerseys. Now a Texas Ranger.
Breaking ball and a good one. Padres and the Brewers split a 4-game series back in May. 3 games here this weekend, or this week. Seems like a weekend already, the way this game is moving along.
Snail's pace.
I mean, that young man's going to have to get a refill on that ice cream. We got to go down and buy him one. Last seen licking his elbow. Two and two to Norris, and he goes down on the breaking ball. Second strikeout for Blazek. That'll bring up Adam Rosales, who is flied out, struck out, and knocked in a run with a sac fly.
Let's check in with Engelberg. Oh, yeah. You know
I mean, is that a happy kid or what?
You know what? I look at those kids, and it's great. They remind me of the kids from The Sandlot. Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, oh, that's a great
Isn't that a great movie? This kid's just having fun. Look at now he wants to eat the helmet.
Yeah, it's a picture of total joy. Throw through to second base, and Schimpf able to dive back. Just why do you even need a spoon? I mean, that just is what the. Just get your tongue in there and just suck it in there. 1-0. Breaking ball misses inside.
I wonder which one is Smalls, which one is Squints. I wonder if Wendy Peppercorn is anywhere around that group of kids down there. How you doing?
2 outs, Schimpf at second base. 2 outs in the 7th and 3/4 of the way through the ice cream.
One of my favorite scenes in The Sandlot. Remember they try the chewing tobacco and then they get on the ride at the amusement park?
Oh, right.
Look out.
James Earl Jones, the neighbor with the mean dog.
Yeah.
The Babe Ruth autographed baseball. Solarte told him how to do it. He's got a couple of hits tonight and 2 RBIs, and that one misses. Ball 4. Another walk. That's the 7th given up by Milwaukee pitching tonight, plus a hit batsman. The Padres have walked 7 as well and a hit batsman. So that's 16 base runners without coming up with a base hit. Pitching coach Derek Johnson. And Alex Dickerson returns. Friday night, it didn't look good on this collision, as Jankowski took the legs out from under him and he landed heavily on his right hip. Thank goodness there's some padding there, but it's still mighty painful and knocked him out of the lineup for the last couple of games.
Yeah, and I mentioned it the night it happened. I was glad that Dick, his spikes didn't get caught in the track when he got hit by Jankowski. His feet were up off the air, so that's a good way of blowing out a knee.
Red hot. He didn't get a chance to bat. That collision happened in the first inning. He had homered in 4 consecutive games. So the very fact he was in the lineup, that ended that streak, even though he didn't get a chance to swing. 2 on, 2 out here in the 7th. Couple more walks to the Padres. Pops it up. Back at third. Angling out is Perez and makes the catch in foul territory. That's the 7th for the Padres. They still lead it by 4.
You're killing me, Smalls.
And I are working on Padres Live, the post-game show brought to you by Cox Communications. A lot of guys contributing tonight, including Will Myers.
When things aren't going well, what's it time for? It's time for line drives and change the way you look. Take a look at the high socks tonight. Old school by Will Myers. This is a good sign. You know why? Because it's a laser off the left center wall. That's the reason why.
Yeah, it was an absolute bullet. A lot of guys, as I mentioned, doing the job tonight, including Travis Jankowski and Ryan Schimpf. When we see you on the post-game show, we'll wrap up today's action, take you around baseball for some highlights. Also, a recap of the action that was the week of trades prior to today's 1 p.m. deadline. And at a post-game show, Mark Sweeney challenges that little fellow with the ice cream in a ice cream eating contest. And
really?
Don't fool with Sweeney and a bowl of chocolate and a spoon.
Man, I'm going to stick around for that. How about sharing with all the rest of us, huh? As Brad Hand comes in to work the 8th inning. Padres 6, Milwaukee 2. And has been a solid addition to that bullpen.
He most certainly has. And for Brad Hand, being aggressive in the strike zone. Last time out was against the Cincinnati Reds. It was yesterday. Pitched an inning, he walked a Red, and he struck out one.
Carter, Neuenhuis, and Maldonado, the middle three of the Milwaukee order in the 8th inning.
Two good pickups by the Padres and A.J. Preller. Brad Hand, Ryan Buchter. We talked about it when the Padres GM was joining us earlier in the game. Seemed like it was last week.
That was a long time ago. 94, fastball misses to Carter, who has flied out, grounded into a double play, and bounced to third. He's their home run guy, 24, with 59 runs batted in. That also leads the club. Three and one. The wildness of August on this first day of the month. 8 extra base runners for each team. That ball hit hard and long to left center field. It's going, and it is out of here. Carter, number 25. As he circles the bases, the Brewers cut into the Padre lead. It's now 6-3.
And that's a full count to Chris Carter, and with the lead 6-2 at the time before the pitch, Brad Hand, he's going to try to locate a fastball. Carter's probably hunting the fastball, and it's right down the middle, and he leans on that one.
Only the 4th hit for the Brewers tonight. Into the Padre bullpen. That'll bring up Neuenhuis. He has grounded out twice and flied to left. .98 miles an hour on the contact.
It's interesting, Dick, that home run 98. Remember the Will Myers ball off the wall? 102 off the bat.
Yeah, you could hang a week's washing on that line drive, couldn't you? Well, Carter's always been a home run hitter, and while he has a low batting average and strikes out a lot, he will give you that long ball. Fortunately for the Padres, no one on base with all the walks tonight. Swinging like that with a couple of walks aboard could be very painful. 412 feet, they measure it. Well, a bit of history on August 1st. You got to go back to the end of World War II, 1945. And Mel Ott, late in his career, hit his 500th home run on this date in 45. Ground ball into the shift, and Schimpf is there to backhand and throw him out. Here's the Arco top tier player profile on Chris Carter. home run leaders. He moves up within 2 of Trevor Story. Colorado Rockies have a 1-2 punch going there with Arenado tied with Chris Bryant, Bruce, Duvall, and Carter all with 25.
Yeah, Chris Carter used to be with the Oakland A's, then the Houston Astros, 2 ballparks, Houston and now Milwaukee, where the ball flies. Hey, don't get me wrong, he can hit home runs in a lot of different ballparks, but those are good ballparks to hit in for Chris Carter.
Maldonado singled, hit by a pitch, and smashed one back to the box that hit Villanueva. Villanueva able to throw him out. Anyway, to finish on Mel Ott, hitting his 500th home run. Vin Scully's favorite player as a kid growing up, Mel Ott. And that was significant at the time in 1945 because it was only the 3rd man in baseball history to hit 500. Okay.
Babe
is the first, of course, with 714.
Wouldn't be the big cat, Johnny Mize, would it?
No. Right-handed hitter.
Is this an obvious one?
Oh, yeah, the Hall of Famer. But, you know, it's overlooked often when we talk about the great home run hitters of all time. But certainly.
Can you give me a team?
I'll give you an X.
Jimmy Fox?
Jimmy Fox, 527 at the time. So in 1945, only 3 had hit 500. Ott joining as the 3rd man.
Nice.
2-1. Oh, my goodness. That was somewhere near Escondido. Just a little outside. 3-1. Now, Bob Uecker, who is the broadcaster, of course, with the Brewers, he's not with the team here on the West Coast.
He hit the bull.
Yeah. Ooh, we had to rip at that one down the middle. And on this August 1st in 1978, Pete Rose's 44-game hitting streak ended. So he finished tied all time with Wee Willie Keeler at 44 for the National League longevity title. Hit title. Did he go? Yes, he did. 2 away now in the 8th inning.
It's a breaking ball. It's a slider down, and Maldonado cannot hang back on that swing from the side. Well, Stuffy goes, and in the dirt, Derek Norris makes the tag.
And get a look at how clearly he passed the front edge of home plate. It's a really oddity in this game. One being so many walks and a couple of hit batsmen, 16 total men put on base, and yet only one of them scored.
It's unbelievable. You cannot predict this game. You're absolutely right.
Manny Pena just called up with a trade of Lucroy, and he takes ball 1. So he'll be the second string catcher for the Brewers. Brandon Maurer, even though it's not a save situation, or is it now? Yes, it is a save situation, 6-3. Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Well, Pena delivers. Inning continues here in the 8th.
Well, coming off that bench, you're going to look for one pitch and swing early. Don't want to get yourself into a hole. It looks like a fastball, and off the end of the bat just a little bit, but still catching a lot of the plate for Pena.
Checking to see if that's his first major league hit. Just activated on the big club from Colorado Springs, their AAA farm team. Keon Broxton struck out twice, fly to center. It is not his first major league hit. Strike one. A couple of years for a cup of coffee in Kansas City. So coming into the game, he had 3 major league hits, 16 at bats. Make it 4 now. Got away with one there, and 0-2. There's our matchup tomorrow night. Zach Davies, a sparkling 8-4 record with the Brewers. Perdomo cruising along. Terrific outing the last time out at 5-4. A lot of fans will look at the ERA and say, well, this looks like a lopsided game. But Perdomo, you got to look at his last half dozen games, and he's been just amazing how he's been pitching.
Yeah, remember some of those games out of the bullpen, right, Dick? Some crooked numbers and excuse the ERA, but I tell you what, Luis last time in Toronto, boy, he was fun to watch.
Relaxed tonight, huh? He's studying the opposition. Well, the bark in the park night down to a whimper. You know, the canines, they've gone to sleep out there now.
Yeah, it's been a long night for the canine friends of ours.
Past the 10:30 hour here in the West Coast. And the top of the 8th inning, 6-3. Padres lead it. 2-2. On that ground screw tomorrow before the game, they're going to go out and nail down home plate. I think it's been moving around tonight. And they got to get that locked in.
Tough for the guys on defense, too. A lot of deep counts.
Ryan Braun with the bat.
Yeah, gets that situation where that one bullet to where one swing can tie it or take the lead. That would be the guy.
Or it could even be a decoy.
Sure.
Missed the last 4 games, and this is the 5th game with that pain on the side. Rib cage. Got him. That's it for the 8th inning. Another run on the Carter home run. But the Padres prevail 6-3 as they go to bat in the bottom of the 8th.
Presents Padres Baseball, brought to you by Sony High-Res Audio. Finally, hear everything. By Petco, your complete pet store. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealers. The Padres with a 6-3 lead. Bottom of the 8th inning, and Jankowski is going to lead off an inning for the 4th time tonight. He has 3 scratch hits and a walk, has scored a run, has stolen a base tonight. And his 3 hits represent his career high.
Yeah, triple header for that kid right there. Sporting the 3 lids. Gotta love that. Some Twins fans in town in San Diego.
The new pitcher is David Goforth, and he was just called up from Colorado Springs with the trades of Jeffress and Lucroy, and Smith away today. Will Smith to San Francisco.
3rd stint with the Brewers. Go forth and sit no more. Always working from the stretch.
Jankowski put a little frosting on that 3-hit cake tonight. 95 on the fastball. Two and 0. It would only be appropriate for Goforth to walk the first man just to be in the spirit of the evening.
Oh, how darling.
Staying with Daddy and Mommy tonight, right to the final out. Three and 0. And another walk. 5 times up, 5 times aboard for Jankowski. The ice cream concession hitting new highs at Petco Park on this Monday night. Bethancourt, 1 at bat, struck out. Insurance run wouldn't hurt for the Padres here in the bottom of the 8th inning with a 6-3 advantage.
Yeah, the best thing, of course, would be to get the Brewers out of slam range. +4. So 2 runs here would work very nicely for San Diego.
Talked to it. Council, the manager of the Brewers, the former Notre Dame star, had a great career himself as a player and was on 2 World Series championship teams, the '97 Marlins, as well as the 2001 D-backs. In his 2nd year, and I said, what have you learned so far? I mean, you learn a lot of things, and it's exhausting, and of course a tough day for him. He's lost 3 really good players. And they're building with their youth program as well. He said it was tough, but I'm finally learning that patience is key. It is a virtue. You've got to be patient with these young players. You can't expect everything from them. Give them time to develop, and it's just you nurture them along and not expect too much too soon. And some nice surprises can develop. And he pointed in particular to Hernan Perez, who has had a big season for the Brewers this year. And a 2-run home run tonight. 3-0. And finally a strike thrown by Goforth.
You know, in this day and age, Dick, everybody wants everything right now, right?
Okay.
Instantaneous, but you're right. The patience part is so key, especially for young players. It's a totally different game up here at this level.
Right field and hit well. Bethancourt and able to snare it. The right fielder Neuenhuis on the warning track. Back Jankowski to first base.
You know, that ball was off the end of the bat. It didn't have that real clean, crisp sound, and it still went a long way. My point is, it goes to show you how strong Christian Bethancourt is.
So 1 out to Will Myers. Myers has been on base all 4 times, a couple of walks, a double, scored a run, and a swinging bunt single the last time. One out, Jankowski at first. Just hit a piece of the outside edge. Ground ball toward third. Bobbled by the third baseman, Perez. Well, he was in a hurry to back up and fire to second and start a potential double play and forgot to squeeze the ball. So there's the error, and the Brewers lead the National League in most errors.
Trying to be a little bit too quick on the off the heel into the webbing. You see that ball bouncing around that glove down there.
So first and second with 1 out. Solarte the hitter.
I think I saw a frog with a tennis racket in that glove bouncing around.
I've never seen that, but you seem to be able to catch it every time. It's kind of like the green flash, you know, in the Pacific Ocean.
You got to watch really closely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 on for Solarte. Hit into a double play, then singled. Knocked in 2 runs with a single in the 5-run 5th inning and fly to center his last time. A modest shift on. And the runners go, and they throw through to second base. And Myers in the rundown. Here comes the runner to the plate, and he's going to score! Jankowski. But credit Myers with half of that run as he got himself in that pickle, and they couldn't tag him out. And in the process, Jankowski waited for that one moment to streak for home. And by the time Carter threw to the plate, the Padres take a 7-3 lead.
Good speed puts pressure on every defender out there, especially in a situation like that. Credit Will Myers for getting caught up.
So you got to give Jankowski a steal of third.
Yep.
And that was a terrific idea, Maldonado, to get the runner going to second. But with Carter's back to the play, Jankowski sneaks in the backside with another run.
A great read from Travis. As soon as that ball left the hand of the middle infielder, he was off.
So Jankowski gets his 20th steal here, and he just keeps on moving. Look at, he has this big lead.
He's fun to watch.
You can't play it any better
Nope.
than that. And with his speed, able to steal a run. Myers winds up at second base. See how you sort out the stolen bases on that play. Still 1 out.
Dick, you're having a heck of a night for pick the stick with Travis Jankowski.
Without him hitting the ball barely out of the infield. A run without a base hit here in the 8th. High pop up, center of the diamond. And the catch. made by VR for the second out, and it's time for our Carl's Jr. star of the game. And Jan Solarte, back from a week with his wife and an illness in the family, delivers a single and then another single, and a 2-run single that was. Then comes around to score as well. So Solarte on the night has been a very productive Padre with a run scored and knocking in a couple more. Our Carl's Jr. star of the game. Here's Schimpf. He well could have earned the honor. He's got a triple, a double. He scored 2 and knocked in 1.
Mark Sweeney with Ryan Schimpf tonight and pick the stick. He as well having a nice night.
Yeah, he's the leader currently in our pick the stick contest. Ground ball right side. Jeanette there gets the final out here in the 8th inning, but the Padres a big insurance run, now lead at 7-3. The Padres get the early lead, but each time Milwaukee scored, the Padres answered in their half of that inning. So the 2 in the top of the 5th for the Brewers. Padres answered with 5, and the same in the 8th inning. Padres score 1 after the Brewers had the home run from Carter. Tomorrow's probable, Zach Davies on the hill for the Brew Crew. He's 8-4 with an ERA of 3.59, and Luis Perdomo will go for his 6th victory of the season. And again, that ERA is misleading because of all the early runs allowed by Perdomo. And Brandon Maurer comes in the 9th inning. It's not a save situation, but he'd been warming up, so they're going to use him. And he's been outstanding of late.
He really has. He's been very, very aggressive in the zone. His 51st game for the right-hander. More strikeouts than innings pitched.
In the last 22 innings, he struck out 25, allowed a 145 batting average. Excuse me, swing. Myers with a toss to Maurer, and there's the first out of the 9th. Elmore erased, and that's to the top of the order, Jonathan VR. VR has walked twice. He's stolen his 39th base. And by the way, in that whole scramble between Myers and Jankowski on the rundown, Myers gets a stolen base, and that's his 20th. So he is now a member of the 2020 club, only the 9th Padre to hit 20 home runs and steal 20 bases.
That's great. Couldn't happen to a nicer kid. Glad to see the success of Will Myers in a Padre uniform, 2016. I mentioned Brandon Maurer doing a great job over his last 20 outings since June 11th. ERA .82, .82.
Chop to third, or shortstop rather. Rosales fires to first for the out. So accustomed to having Rosales over on the third base side, but playing shortstop tonight. He takes care of the second out. And it's up to Scooter Gennett to keep it going for Milwaukee. Here are the last 3 outings for the big right-hander Mauer. Mauer power.
Absolutely. He is pounding the zone and getting great results.
Only 1 hit in the last 4 innings of work and 4 strikeouts. Gennett has walked twice, singled and scored, and fouled out. Base hit to center. Gennett, who has already extended his hitting streak to 11 straight games, picks up his second hit tonight, and the 5th for, make it now the 6th for Milwaukee. Now he keeps hopes alive for the Brew Crew fans, and here's Perez, 2-run homer back in the 5th inning in a 1-for-3 night. He also has walked. .95-mile-an-hour strike.
I tell you, that is getting on top of that pitch, getting on top of that baseball, and just pounding that outside corner very nicely. Getting some good downward action too on that fastball.
Trying to close up shop, Brandon Mauer, before the 11 o'clock hour here in San Diego. Stay with us for our Padres Live, the post-game show. We'll hear Andy Green's comments, so lots of information to be shared. Mike and Mark called to duty. Always a great show.
They do a great job on that show.
Yeah, they leave the night complete. 2 balls and a strike now to Perez. Chris Carter, with the home run the last time up, is on deck. Runner goes, and it's 2-2. Defensive indifference. Gennett takes second. And the Brewers are down to their final strike.
Oh, they're locked in.
Oh, yeah. Are they memorizing or mesmerizing? No, doesn't get the call. 3-2. Well, the rabid fans left in the crowd of 24,000 want a strikeout, but the right field play by Blash will be just fine. There's your final out, and the Padres have won the opener of this 3-game series, 7-3. And here's Mike Pomerantz.
Dick, thanks very much. For Mark and I see on Padres Live, the post-game show, you are going to hear from Andy Green, his thoughts on his day from Jared Stankowski, also Ryan Schimpf, Will Myers. A lot to get to. Join us in moments.